San Jose Arena as the Sharks wrap up a season-opening homestand tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. Hi again, everybody. I'm Randy Hunt along with Pete Semkowski. Welcome to Sharks Hockey here on Sports Channel. Game number 3 of the season for the San Jose Sharks. And Pete, the first thing that the crew here at San Jose Arena did after that game on Thursday night was put new red light bulbs in behind both the nets because the red lights were a-popping in a 12-goal game. It was great.
Well, you know, it's exciting hockey. I mean, you got a lot of scoring opportunities. Goalkeepers have to be spectacular just to keep the score down to a 6-6 hockey game, but it's wide open. There's not that clutching and grabbing in the neutral zone. Life is a little miserable for those defensemen who have to go back and get those pucks because those forwards are really bearing down on them, but that's exciting hockey. That's what you like to see, a lot of goals, and that's what we had here the other night.
Kevin Constantine has been
through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
With the national anthem. We are live at San Jose Arena as we get set for Sharks hockey here on Sports Channel. The Vancouver Canucks against the San Jose Sharks in the first of 5 meetings between these Pacific Division rivals. All right, let's look who's out of action for the Sharks. Jim Kite, coming off that knee injury, probably could go, but it's a bit of a numbers game too. He'll sit. And not dressing, coach's decision, Kevin Miller, Victor Kozlov, and Dodie Wood. As we mentioned in our pregame show, Sergei Boughton was sent to Kansas City this afternoon. For the Vancouver Canucks, and these are all just coaching decisions, Jim Sandlak, Kay Whitmore, Dana Merzen, Alex Stoyanov, and Leif Rowland not dressing. Whitmore actually cleared waivers yesterday, and they're just getting ready to assign him to the minor leagues. There's Wayne Flaherty making his first start of the 1995-96 season. Last year in 18 games, those were the numbers, a 3.10 goals against average. And down at the other end, making only his 5th ever NHL appearance, and his first this year, Corey Hirsch. Last year in the American Hockey League at Syracuse, he played 57 games, had some pretty good numbers there, including a 3.11. And we are underway as Ulf Dahlen wins the draw at center ice. Back to Flaherty, this is Marcus Ragnarsson, and we are underway in game number 3 of the season for both these teams. Both coming in with identical records of no wins, 1 loss, and a tie. Canucks with the puck as Brett Hedican, number 3, plays it up the near wing. Martin Shelina with it now. Gave it away to Dahlen. Gets it back from Pat Falloon, but Dahlen had fallen and was unable to get up in time to receive the pass. Ozolin's shot, that got through, but her shot. Now Hedican plays it up for Trevor Linden. Vancouver cough it up again in their own end. Here's a shot taken by Falloon that hit a stick, goes out of play, but good pressure in the first 41 seconds.
And Pat Falloon, who didn't play the other night, in the lineup playing with Jeff Friesen and Ulf Dahlen. The Sharks would just love to see him get on track.
And there's tonight's referee, Don Koharski, assisted by the gentle giant, Mike Civic.
He's big, all right.
And Jay Shares, our video goal judge tonight, is Larry Collison.
Yep. Well, I think Koharski was here the other night, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
A chance to enjoy some of the California sunshine and soak in some of the culture out here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, what do? You got a couple days off. You're a referee. I mean, no, nothing to do.
Oh, he just hung out at the pool. Here's Sikora. It's tipped, and Hirsch had it blocked in front of him by one of the Canuck defensemen. Another shot as Jay Moore lets go from the point. Now in the slot, it's Whitney. Tried the one-timer, a good idea, but he didn't get good wood. And it's played out by Jason Cullimore. Fired right back in again by Michael Sikora. Good pressure by the Shark forwards as Whitney plays it behind the net. Donovan centers for Janney. That's intercepted, and down goes Mike Ridley into the corner. Puck continues to stay in the Sharks' possession. Whitney trying to knock it down. And it's held in by Sean Donovan. Oh, no, says the linesman on the far side, Jay Shares, and they'll bring it out for a faceoff.
You know, Sean Donovan off to a great start for the San Jose Sharks. Got a couple of goals the other night against the Boston Bruins. This line, very effective. Craig Janney, probably his best game as a Shark the other night against his old team, the Bruins. And of course, Ray Whitney over on the other side. That is the line that Coach Kevin Constantine put together. And You gotta like what they saw here the other night.
Off the draw, Sikora and Ridley on the far side, right in front of Arthur Zerbe, who's sitting on the end of the Sharks bench there. He had to protect himself from the high sticks that were flying.
The goalies, even when they're talking to somebody, they're always alert. Notice that he was talking to the trainer. Bang, stuck out his hand.
Good reflexes.
Yeah, well, you got to have it. Reflexes to be a goalie.
Absolutely. Goes with the job description. Russ Courtnall, traded late in the season last year to the Canucks by the Dallas Stars, was reunited with his brother, and then his brother left because they weren't getting along. Here's a shot, and it went off the post. Cliff Ronning blasting from close range. Flaherty had that side covered, but it did hit the pipe. Now it's played in from the left point side by Vancouver's Dean Melcock. Turned back the other way by the Sharks. Here's Lariano. He's got Nazarov. Saved by Hirsch. Great job by Hirsch to cut off the angle as Andre Nazarov was bidding for his first goal of the year. Here's Roman Otsuda down the wing. Saved by Flaherty. And this wide open stall is starting to materialize again as Lariano dumps it in. Babbage spun around by Nazarov. It comes out to center. Ozolinsh sending it to Marcus Ragnarsson. Now Jamie Baker out on a line with Dave Brown and Jeff Odgers. That's a line that can punish you. Here's Baker. In front of him to get the puck is Scott Walker. Baker now tries. There's Brown. He scores!
Dave Brown, his first goal as a San Jose Shark. We talk about how this line likes to punish. You put these guys out there, they're going to knock people down. Look at Odgers on the forecheck, jumping in on that loose puck. Baker's there. Middle of your screen is Dave Brown. Look at nobody's around. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in front of Corey Hirsch. In fact, he gets wiped right out of the play. Watch him go down right here. He's down out of the play. Somebody knocked him down, and Dave Brown in the perfect spot makes no mistake on that one to give the Sharks the 1-goal lead.
Jamie Baker picks up the only assist on the goal at 2:53 as Dave Brown, in only his second game as a Shark, gets his first goal. And for the third straight game, Pete, the Sharks have scored within the first 3 minutes of the first period. In game one, it was the early goal by Ozolinsh. Then on Thursday night, Janney's goal. And now again, Dave Brown here at 2:53. Sharks lead 1-0 over Vancouver on Sports Channel.
Don't you just...
Back live at San Jose Arena. Well, Shark fans, while you can't bring the rink home with you, you can bring home the ice. Bud Ice. Ice brewed for the smooth taste that goes down easy. Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
Okay, let's look at that goal once again by Dave Brown, coming on his first shift of the hockey game. Good forecheck by the Sharks. Jamie Baker comes out with that puck. 2 guys back of the net. 1 guy has to stay out. That is Dave Brown. That puck coming back perfectly to him. He makes no mistake, and he buries that one.
Tell you what, Pete, you have to go back a long way in Dave Brown's career to find a season when he scored more than 1 goal. In fact, it was 91-92 when he scored 4 for Philadelphia.
Yeah, but
he's on a pace now to score 60 or 70.
He got 2 in the exhibition. He got 2 there. So now he's got 3. I mean, those don't count, but in his mind, there we go.
Gino Ojic back to the point. Brett Hennigan's shot was tipped in front of Wade Flaherty, but wide of the net. Now dumped back to Ojic. This is a crash bang line with Ojic out there with Hunter and Scott Walker. Here's Gino backhanding it and into the slot. It's Odgers to get it for the Sharks. He's spun around and down. Walker with the weak shot, and Flaherty will hold it there. There's some big bodies out on the ice for both clubs right now with that Odgers and Brown line still out there, and you get big Gino Ojic out with Tim Hunter, and even Scott Walker's not a little guy. That's a lot of beef.
Well, you know, Randy, I think teams took into account what the New Jersey Devils did last year. They had that crash line with McKay and Peluso. Those guys also had some talent. They would dump the puck in and just wear down defense, take the body every chance they get. So a lot of teams are getting that one big line. Hopefully they got some skill and create some damage. And that Vancouver line that just went off the ice did some of that.
Canucks won that draw, and that broke a streak of 5 straight faceoffs that the Sharks have won in the game so far. Sandis Ozolins to Falloon and back to Ragnarsson, who gives back to Pat Falloon. Falloon on the left side, gets it to his forehand, now leaves it for Ozolins, and Dahlin had a great opportunity there but missed. There's a shot by Falloon, but he didn't get good wood, and it comes back out across the blue line. What a glorious opportunity for Ulf Dahlin. Jeff Friesen sees that pass late. It comes into the Vancouver zone. Here's Jelena. Short pass, got it ahead to Joseph Baranek. Ragnarsson steals. Now Falloon, left wing side, wanted Friesen. That went off Jelena's skates and off target. Now Baranek. He goes wide to the left, has a man with him. It's Linden, but the pass never gets there. Dahlin trying to get the puck. Now a chance. Flaherty will glove this one as Jelena gets his stick up high, trying to knock it out of Flaherty's glove, but he holds it.
Good defensive play just prior to that by Marcus Ragnarsson as Trevor Linden was breaking in all alone on the right side, and Ragnarsson, you're going to see right there, gets that body between himself and the puck carrier and able to prevent a good scoring opportunity by the Canucks. Now they come right back. There's the play in front of the net, and once again it is Wade Flaherty coming up with the save. The shots on goal, 3-2 right now in favor of the Sharks.
Well, that's a great thing for Marcus Ragnarsson to remember. The first rookie in Sharks history to score in his first 2 NHL games. Got one in the opener and then got one again on Thursday night against the Bruins. Get a whistle after the puck is dropped and they'll do it over again. And it hasn't taken long for Marcus Ragnarsson to make the adjustment.
Good offensive skills, great hands, good size.
One of 4 rookies in the Sharks lineup this season, all eligible for the Rookie of the Year. Here's one, Donovan. But he stopped as he tried to advance it in the Vancouver zone by number 32, newcomer Dean Nelcock. Now the Canucks, Pavel Bure. That might be his first touch of the puck. Sent it up the wing. Or Malcock. Now Whitney, good forechecking, gets the puck away. Looks down low, wanted Janney behind the net, but it never got that far. Babbage now, as it's played by Russ Courtnall, broken up by Rafji. Russ Courtnall gets it back 3-on-2 with Ridley and Burry. Here's Ridley, the move, the shot, blocked by Peterson. Burry scores. Loose puck drops down to Pavel Bure, and we're tied at 1.
And some good speed through the neutral zone. When you got guys like Courtnall and Burry out there, you know these guys can fly, and Ridley had a little bit too much time in front of the net. He got the shot away. Here's Courtnall over to Ridley. Look at the time that Ridley's got. He's in. The only guy back there is Tommy Peterson, and he just tries to stay in the middle of everything. He goes down. Flaherty is all tied up. He doesn't know where the puck is. Here's Ridley with the time. Lots of time. Here's the shot. You see right to the left of your screen, Pavel Bure up on the back end. And we've got a 1-1 hockey game.
So the Canucks come right back at 5:35. Ridley and Courtnall getting the assists on Bure's 3rd goal of the season. And now it's played into the Shark zone again. Neil after it. Nice fake there by Flaherty. And it'll be touched for icing.
You get these guys like Courtnall. We talk about Pavel Bure. You gotta shrink the ice on these kind of guys. And when Courtnall goes wide, he takes a defender with him, and then Ridley breaks in the middle. One of those forwards has to pick up Mike Ridley. He just had so much time, and Tom Peterson, of course, defenseless back there. And if you leave a 60-goal scorer like Pavel Bure all alone, and he's going to bury it. As take a look at Rick Lee, the coach of the Vancouver Canucks.
The 2nd season as head coach. He was an assistant under now President Pat Quinn prior to that. That was Bure's 16th career goal against the Sharks in only 23 games. But he's got those kind of numbers against a lot of teams. It tends to happen when you have back-to-back 60-goal years like he did.
You don't miss too many along the way, do you? Steve, that is.
Here's another break. It's McGillney this time to Otsuda. Saved by Flaherty. Roman Otsuda right in the middle. And Flaherty denied him that time. Back come the Sharks. Sikora to center. Now to Nazarov. He waits, gives back to the off wing for Peltman. His shot comes through to Igor Larionov. And he got a weak redirect into the glove of Corey Hirsch. And now Nazarov tied up with one of the Vancouver players behind the Canucks net.
Well, Peltonen is the guy who got ridden out. He started jamming away with Hirsch having that puck. Couple of defensive breakdowns here by the Sharks, and that's something they cannot afford to do in their own zone. These little 2-on-1s, they can prove costly. You've got to really play discipline as far as getting people coming back, and I know that Kevin Constantine stresses that you're never too late to come back and help.
Well, Constantine is kind of caught in the middle of trying to make the transition to a more skillful team than he's had in his first 2 seasons, but also, as you pointed out, Pete, maintain that core of defensive responsibility that everybody on the ice has with the Sharks.
And it's all right to score 6-7 goals, but you can't let the other guys score 8 or 9.
Now the line that scored the first goal of the game, Odgers, Baker, and Brown back out for the Sharks. Herschel, who is in trouble at the side of his net, gets bailed out by the defenseman back there, Jason Pellemore. Now a big hit behind the play. Odgers hammering away. Now back come the Sharks. Brown a shot, and that'll go up in the crowd. But Jeff Odgers waking everybody up with a check on Tim Hunter.
Did he ever? He leveled him. We got a 1-1 hockey game, and we'll be right back.
I think I was about 8 when I...
At your Lexus dealer.
Kyle 58 left here in the first period. Another sellout crowd at San Jose Arena as the Sharks and Canucks are all tied up at a goal each. Now good work off the face-off. Odgers goes to the corner, trying to dig it out there. Elmore comes in. Odgers still with it. Now behind the net, Baker centered it for Brown. And the Canucks will break back out through center ice. This is Scott Walker. Wanted Tim Hunter on the far side. Brown doing a good job staying with his man. Now the Sharks come back to center. Tom Peterson will dump it in and be alive.
We talk about never too late come back. Brown puts his head down. Took Hunter out of the play.
Here's Nazarov. Pat Falloon, who gets back into the lineup after sitting out against the Bruins on Thursday. Nice little move there, and a nice pass for Dolan. Both couldn't quite bring it in. Ozelin's trying to hold it at the point, couldn't. Jelena trying to break it out to Trevor Linden. That broke down. Now Ragnarsson trying to advance it. Here come the Canucks. 2-on-1. Babbage, he had Baranek with him, but they go offside at the blue line. Ozelin and Ragnarsson both cheating up there a little bit in the neutral zone, and it almost cost them.
Well, both those guys are offensive defensemen, so they love to jump into that play, but sometimes when your partner jumps in there offensively, you got to be a little bit more cautious and stay back. And the Canucks with that speed sometimes can take advantage of it, so the Sharks really got to be aware of that.
Shots pretty even right now. Vancouver out shooting the Sharks 4-3. He's lapped in by Malcock. Out the corner, the Canucks captain Trevor Linden, checked by Ragnarsson. Now Ozelinch, his hands full down there against Martin Jelena. Doing a nice job though. One hand on the stick, he got it out of there. Dolan now takes a big hit from Linden. He's a physical forward. Centering pass, Baranek one-timed it, and Flaherty's there with the save. But Vancouver gets those big forwards on the ice like Trevor Linden on this line, and they cause the Sharks some problems.
Well, you know, it's difficult to get the puck out. You got a guy like Trevor Linden who's 215 pounds. Look how he hits Hope Dolan right there. That's a tough play for a winger. Not only he takes Dolan out, but he picks up the puck. Looking on his backhand, there's Baranek right there. Just one-times it, trying to beat Flaherty over on that short side.
Nice size on that line for Vancouver. Baranek 6'2", 192. And of course, big Trevor Linden, who's got a big fat new contract as well with the Canucks, who I'm told have a payroll around $24 million.
Three of these guys making at least 10. Perry, McGillney, and Linden add up their salaries. That's got to be close to $10 million. That's for 1 year.
Dolan dumps it in. Falloon waiting on the puck. Now from the point, Ragnarsson played it off the back of Friesen. Here's Dolan from behind the net. Centers it. Friesen skidding around. Corey Hirsch on top of it, though, with help from Jelena. They'll hold it there for a face-off, but when you give Dolan even a half step or two behind the net like that, he'll hurt you.
All right, he's got great balance. The thing he does so well is he does that wraparound. He comes out in front of the net, and you can either tuck it in or get a good shot on goal. Now see what he does. Look at that balance coming around. Gonna try and put it in on that short side. But look at Jeff Friesen. Right there, gets the puck, lets it go, gets good wood on it, but Corey Hirsch came sliding out and comes up with a save. That line getting some scoring opportunities. Dolan's career numbers against Vancouver.
Pretty impressive, 27 points.
Got 1 goal so far, Ulf, and Jeff Friesen having some tough luck, still looking for his first goal of the year.
There's one of the assistant captains. Dolan. Now the Canucks come out after the face-off win. Here's Brett Hedican. Has Bure with him, the drop pass back to Hedican. He lost control of it. Jason Moore playing up the board. Janney with his back to the oncoming Russ Courtnall, able to work it free and up to the line. Janney trying to get control, but Courtnall takes it back for Vancouver. Plays it to the near board side. 10:41 left to go in the first period in a 1-1 game. Goals by Brown for the Sharks and Bure for Vancouver. Bure goes to the corner chasing after the loose puck. Here's Jason Moore getting to it and sending it up the boards. Courtnall dumps it for Hedican. Donovan up there pressuring on the forecheck. He's cut off from the play by Jyrki Lumi. Canucks a little lackadaisical here in the neutral zone. I think they're looking to make a change.
Burry wants to get off.
And the Sharks hope to take advantage. Here's Janney. Dishes back. Donovan just wide with it. Sikora trying to sweep it back deep, and he missed. Here comes Bure. He's got a man open up. Suda. Nice defensive play by Tom Peterson. Now he's chasing the puck down, but Cullimore is able to chop it back into the Sharks' end.
That was a 3-on-1 and great anticipation by Tom Peterson to intercept that pass by Pavel Bure.
Now Larionov almost stealing it from Ronning. Now he does get it. Here's Igor Larionov to the blue line. He has Nazarov on his right. Andre kind of hung back on the play. Now the Canucks will get it back up to Cliff Ronning. We weren't sure if we were going to see Ronning tonight. He was out with a groin injury, but able to step back into the lineup for the Canucks tonight as Flaherty makes a save off a bouncer. Now it's dished by McGillney to the far board side. Tom Peterson sprints out of traffic, has the puck, dumps it in. He'll peel off. The Sharks will change on the go here with 9:13 left in the first period. Andre Nazarov just threw a big hit at Jason Cullimore. And Cullimore shoving Nazarov as he got back up. Here's Larionov to Nazarov. Andre, nice move. Then the pass. Kicked away by Corey Hirsch. Penalty coming up as Nazarov was hammered by Cullimore. And the Sharks will go on the power play. 1-1 our score. We'll be right back on Sports Channel.
Over 2,000 Americans put these down every day for good.
Andre Nazarov's presence on the ice turns into a power play for the Sharks as Vancouver's Jason Cullimore goes off for interference here at the 11:03 mark, and the Sharks will have their first power play opportunity of the game.
Good hits in this first period by the Sharks. One there by Andre Nazarov, who caught Cullimore in the corner. Now you're going to see the left of your screen right there. See that hit right there by Jason Cullimore? Nazarov let the puck go. And then Cullimore just came in from the point position. Here you're going to see the hit right here by Nazarov. Look at that. Gets that elbow up a little bit. May have gotten away with it, but a good solid check there on Cullimore. That was just a retaliation penalty on that one.
It was a penalty again that I don't think would have been called last season. They call it interference by obstruction under the new guidelines issued by the NHL. And again, because it's early in the season, we continue to bring it up, but it is important. It's really no change in the rules. They're just clarifying the rules and calling the plays that they let go before.
It's always been in that rule book that you're holding over there.
Sharks power play 1 for 7 so far this season. Ozelin shot, save, and it comes on the rebound back out to Friesen. Good quality shot by Ozelin. Now Friesen with it. He winds, gives back to Ozelin, who lost it at the blue line. Trevor Linden blocking it. Canucks penalty killing. Well, they've given up 3 power play goals so far in their prior 2 games against Detroit and then Vancouver. Here's Ozelin. He has the only power play goal for the Sharks. Sends this one through the slot. Back to Ragnarsson. Knocked down with the glove by Nazarov. He and Jyrki Lumi battle for it. It comes back to Ragnarsson at the point. Drops it low for Dahlin. Holt gives off to Nazarov. Nazarov holding it. Gave it away. And now here's a break for Vancouver. Brett Hedican. He has Jelena with him. And he scores. Martin Jelena, Vancouver's 3rd shorthanded goal of the season. They lead 2-1.
Well, you talk about having to shoot the puck. The Sharks looking pretty by passing it around, looking to get that one Vancouver Canuck out of position. One pass too many, intercepted. All the forwards are deep for the Sharks. They can't get back in time. Going to take a look at the passing around here by the Sharks. Dahlin has it. He throws it around. Another pass. Donovan tries to get it over. Now the breakout comes right here. Here's the pass. Hedican makes no mistake to Jelena. He sees Flaherty going down. He just lifts it, gets it underneath the crossbar, and the Vancouver Canucks pick up a shorthanded goal by Martin Jelena and lead it 2-1 with a minute left in their power play.
Well, Vancouver has been a very effective team shorthanded so far this season, and they just showed us there again that they are very dangerous when the opponent is on the power play. Jelena with the goal, and now Rathje knocking it down with the glove. Sharks have to get their power play going here. Only 45 seconds left. Linden and Hedican assist on Jelena's goal, and now we get a whistle at the blue line.
Well, that thing on that power play, when you got 3 guys deep, you get a defenseman that pinching in there, and that's going to prove dangerous. And you mentioned the Vancouver Canucks. Things coaches do not like to see, and I'm sure Kevin Constantine will address that. As Ricky Lee's Vancouver Canucks, as you mentioned, now have 3 shorthanded goals so far this season.
What a roller coaster ride they had in LA on Thursday. They were leading the Kings 5-1. Then LA scored 6 unanswered goals to go ahead 7-5. And then the Canucks scored the last 2 goals, and it ended in a 7-7 tie. Well, you run the whole gamut of emotions in a game like that. Thinking you got it in the bag, then wondering, can we get a point? And then finally settling for that. Here's Whitney with Donovan. Centers it, tipped away as Ozolins was getting ready to fire. Power play has but 13 seconds remaining. Here comes that shorthanded unit again. Bure with Courtnall. Oh, a floating pass by Courtnall that Flaherty let go.
I don't think he saw it.
I don't think he did either. Good thing Bure didn't see it. Here's Donovan now with Janney and Whitney. Penalty is over. Janney can't get it by Cliff Ronning. Here come the Canucks. Bure down the right wing side against Sikora. Cuts in. Nice save by Flaherty, and then a penalty called against Sikora, holding on Pavel Bure, so Vancouver will come right back with a power play of their own.
Well, Michael Sikora really had no choice on that particular play. When this man, Pavel Bure, gets a full head of steam and goes wide, that is a very difficult play for a defenseman. And boy, he had the engines going on this one. Look, he sees Sikora, figures I'm going to go wide, cut in. He's got such great speed. Sikora, there you see with that left arm, just grabbed Bure there at the last moment, turned him around. Here it is. Watch the left arm right there. There's the pull down right there, and Bure down. Sikora heading to the penalty box. You've got to keep guys like that to the inside, like Pavel Bure. You give him outside space, goes wide, cuts in. You just can't catch guys like that.
Holding the call at 13-14. So now Vancouver, who just scored shorthanded, go on the power play. It is 3 of 11 so far this season, and very early, of course, but it is 3rd best up to this point. Sharks penalty killing pretty good. They've only given up 1 power play goal against in 10 tries. So here comes the Vancouver power play unit. McGillney out there with Bure now, and this is when they do play together on the ice. But you don't see them on the same line, at least not at this point. Pass across. Turning away is Jeff Brown, and Bure was unable to get to it at the point. Here's Jeff Friesen, and Corey Hirsch shoots it into his own bench.
Well, they're screaming for a penalty here.
Yeah, they sure are, but they're not going to get the call from Don Kaharski there. Now away from the play, Courtnall bumps with Jamie Baker. There's Hirsch back in the Vancouver goal.
Well, the Sharks just thinking that maybe Corey Hirsch coming out and letting that shot go over the boards, that would be a delay penalty, but actually he was being challenged by the Shark player and let the shot go, and Don Koharski let it go. And I don't know, Baker and Courtnall having exchanging a few how are yous out there. I think the crowd is upset at the fact that there was no penalty on the goalkeeper Corey Hirsch.
I think you're right. Baker now talking over this face-off with Tom Peterson just inside the Vancouver zone. The Canucks win that draw, and it comes back for Jeff Brown. Brown almost lost it there to Jeff Friesen's pressure. Now Friesen chops it back down low, and this has been the key to the penalty killing so far by the Sharks. Good pressure right away by the forwards, and it's not just 1 man deep. Sometimes, like on that sequence, it was 2. Bure over to McGillney, checked by Jay Moore, and he just sweeps it away from Bure in time. Now trying to get it by him in the corner. Bure kicks it free. Along the wall, it's played out to the point for Brown. Brown dishes back for Mike Ridley. Ridley goes to the corner. McGillney wanted Courtnall in the face-off circle. Couldn't get it to him. And it'll come back into the Vancouver zone. 57 seconds to go in the Canuck power play.
That was a great play by Jay Moore. They were working on him on a 2-on-1. If they can get him out of position, they get a good scoring opportunity. But Jay Moore stepped in the middle, got that puck, and drove it out of the zone.
Donovan up to forecheck now, and Canucks are taking their time coming out. Now the Russian rocket, Pavel Bure. To the blue line, he stick handles by Larianov. Now Cliff Ronning with it, sends it back to the point. Lume shot, kick save by Flaherty. Rebound, Ronning shot, glove save by Flaherty. Still alive. Flaherty down on the ice and swept clear from in front by Sandis Ozolin. 19 seconds to go in the power play. Here's Lumi. Now he has Linden on the ice with him at center. Big hit along the inner boards by Ozolin. Loose puck for Ronning. Winds up, fakes, moves, scores. Cliff Ronning with a blackhander that Flaherty got a little bit of. It's a power play goal, and it's 3-1 Vancouver.
Well, we talk about the time that the Vancouver Canucks players who have the puck have inside. Sikora came out of the penalty box, and he probably didn't know which position to take up on the ice, but you're going to see Cliff Ronning. He just takes that puck and drives right. Look at the time he's got. Everybody just separates. Ronning just keeps going. He's got that open ice. Baker tied up in the corner. Ragnarsson has one guy, has to release at the last moment, and Cliff Ronning on the backhand puts it in, and that is it was a power play goal.
Yes, it was.
Not out of the box?
No, he wasn't.
I thought he just got out.
No, he was going to come out in 8 seconds, but it is a power play goal, unassisted for Cliff Ronning at 15:07. And Vancouver now jumps to a 3-1 lead. Here's Gino Ojic. Out for Scott Walker. Now Walker across the blue line on the left point to the other side. The fake, the shot, walked in front as Tim Hunter was running interference in front of Flaherty. Now Hunter trying to dig it out of the corner. Gets some help there from Ojic, and the Sharks are able to get it free. Here's Janney with Odgers. A strange combination because they were in the middle of a line change. They go offside. 3-1 Canucks. We're right back.
With the first pick in 1995.
Explore your world.
Well, the Canucks bench is a happy place for now, but we're still in the first period. 3-1, they lead the Sharks. Randy Hunt along with Pete Stemkowski. We're glad you're along on this Saturday night as the Sharks wrap up their homestand in front of an enthusiastic crowd. After this, we're on the road for a week, Pete.
Yeah, we're heading up to Canada.
The all-Canadian road trip to Toronto, Winnipeg, and Edmonton. Lovely there this time of year.
Vinegar on my French fries. Here we go.
That's for sure, eh? We'll have to check our schedule. Find out what's the best route to take. Here's Moranek, and that's blocked by Ragnarsson. It comes in front. Linden tried to tuck it home. Couldn't get good wood on it as Friesen breaks through center ice over to Pat Falloon. His shot into the corner. Ragnarsson will step up to the point and hammer it toward the net. Falloon after it now, looking for somebody in front, goes back to Ragnarsson. His one-timer, end over end, knocked down by Moranek. Falloon's got it in the corner again. Pat Falloon checked by Babbage. Now in comes help in the form of Ulf Dahlin, who tries to release from Moranek and Dunn. Here's Dahlin behind the net. Centers it for Friesen, and it was cleared away. Here's another chance for Friesen, and he shot it wide. Now Dahlin again behind the net. Dishes in front once more. Wanted Falloon and couldn't get it. Sikora's pass intercepted, and the Canucks will bring it back the other way, but some good pressure there by the Sharks forwards. Linden peeling away from traffic. He's pushed by Sikora, turns away and still has it. Now throws it in front. A chance there for Jelena. Flaherty cut him off. The Canucks still trying to get that puck in front to Martin Jelena. Broken up that time by Donovan. Now Janney shoves it over to the left wing for Whitney. Whitney ridden off the play by Brown. Shot by Janney, stopped by Hirsch. Now Sikora waits for it at the left point. Plays it into the corner. Donovan goes behind the net to get it. He'll one-time it right to Ronning. 2:50 to go in a wide-open first period. 16 shots in the period, 4 goals, and the trend we've seen in the first 2 games seems to be continuing right here again tonight as we get an icing call against Vancouver.
Well, I always say that the most important part of the ice is your own zone, and there's got to be concern by over that coaching staff. Kevin Constant, he's got to be wondering what he's got to do to tighten things up in his own zone, because the Vancouver Canucks are just getting too much time and too many quality scoring opportunities. I can probably count 2 or 3 2-on-1s that the Canucks have had in this game, and they're the kind of a team, if you give them the opportunities, they're going to cash in on them, and they have so far.
Coming up at the intermission, we'll visit with Sharks defenseman Jay Moore. We'll also check in with Glenn Kuiper in the studio and come back with highlights from this first period of action in the first meeting of the season between these teams. Here's Russ Courtnall for the Canucks. Up the wing for Pavel Bure. Rafchi got to it. Sends it deep again. Helped it up to Voracek, but the Canucks get it up the boards. Here's Courtnall. Across the rink for Bure. He has one of the 3 Vancouver goals. Nice pass up the middle for Mike Ridley. But then good work by Peterson to steer him away. Now Rafchi grabbed onto by Ridley, but gets away and sends it this side for Ville Peltonen. Peltonen down the right wing, takes the blue line, drop pass for Nazarov. Andre going wide on Hennigan, lost his edge. Hennigan steps up, has the puck for a moment, but the Sharks get it back. Peltonen centered for Larionov. That's intercepted there by Bure. And now it is Peltonen back the other way. Larionov shot. That was partially tipped. Now Nazarov trying to center it for Igor, couldn't. Andre out of the corner, lost possession. Here comes Bure. He's got Courtnall with him on the left. 2-on-2. They crisscross. Bure shot and saved by Flaherty.
You see what he can do with that puck, boy. Pavel Bure. He's got Michael Sikora with him. He was towards the end of his shift, so he went wide, then he cut across, and everybody just took off away from him. Here's Andrei Nazarov trying to beat that one man. Turnover in the Canucks zone. Here comes Bure down. Now he cuts across, and look at the flow going towards the net. He just gets in traffic, lets a quick shot go, and Flaherty in the middle of the net comes up with the save. 11-6 the shots on goal here in the first period in favor of the Canucks.
There's Pavel Bure, another guy with a huge contract for the Vancouver Canucks, making about $5 million. Yeah. Give or take a few $100,000 here or there. In today's NHL, though, he is worth that money. He is an attraction without a doubt. Now Sikora and Ojic tied up in the corner, and Ojic dropped his glove. I don't know if they were going to mix it up or not. Sikora skated away from the corner, and now Tim Hunter is talking it over with Don Kaharski. Not sure if there's a penalty here. I don't believe so.
Well, you know, first indication is you look at the penalty box, the doors are open, and you know somebody's going in. The Sharks at times are playing the body, playing physical, and then they just get into some kind of a coma there for a spell, and defensively they forget about things in their own zone. There's Sikora coming in pretty high, good hit, and stoppage and play.
Hodgers tried to backhand it out of the zone. Now he gets help from Sikora as they send it deep into the Vancouver end. A minute 13 left to go in the first period. You see the score. Vancouver up 3-1. Collimore to Linden. Open ice check by Sikora. Linden still got rid of the puck. Now it's pass right side. Actually, that was Hunter over there. And the Sharks come back with a minute to go. Hunter peels off as Jay Moore sends it up for Marcus Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson stick handles to center, then feathers a pass into the Vancouver zone. Jeff Brown there for it. Up to Ojic. He lost it. O'Donnell gets it, sends it back in again. Now Flaherty is forced to come to the corner. Speedy Alexander McGillney was chasing it down. And it's Dahlin. Nice speed for Falloon. Here's Pat Falloon to the blue line. Falloon drop pass for Dahlin. In the slot. Shot. Saved by Hirsch. Rebound. Friesen tried to get a piece of it. Here's Ozelin sending it to Jeff Friesen. Friesen far side threw it over for Ragnarsson. Too much to handle. And now Ragnarsson wins a battle for the puck with McGillney. And McGillney took a look back. Wanted a penalty call.
Yeah, he really went down. I don't know whether that was a Hollywood act there or whether he was really pulled down, but he gave Koharski a look that could kill.
And that'll do it for the first period here at San Jose Arena. So the Sharks score the first goal of the game, as they have done in each of their 3 games so far this season. But Vancouver came back with 3 unanswered, and they scored 3 different ways: even strength, shorthanded, and power play. Dave Brown got his first goal as a Shark to start things off at 2:53 from Jamie Baker to make it 1-0. But then the Canucks started their 3 straight goal binge at 5:35. Bure an even strength goal from Ridley and Courtnall. Then shorthanded. Martin Jelena got his first of the season. Hennigan and Linden assisting, but it was the Canucks' 3rd shorthanded goal in this young season at 11:52. Then they got a power play goal from Ronning at 15:07 to round out the first period scoring. At the end of 20 minutes here at San Jose Arena, it is the Vancouver Canucks 3, the San Jose Sharks 1. We'll be back with much more here on Sports Channel.
Here comes Friesen over the blue line, and he's hauled down.
It's the San Jose Sharks taking on the Vancouver Canucks, of course, end of 1 period. And we are here now on the bench, joined by one of the Sharks' veteran defensemen, been around the league a long time. His name is Jason Moore. Jason, thanks for joining us.
Nice to be here, Chris.
All right. You look like you're a little bit tense tonight. Is that because of the Vancouver Canucks?
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to get a puck in the side of the head here while they're warming up, so I'm a little bit nervous.
All right, he would only do it for me because, well, that's just the way it is. Anyway, let's talk a little bit. You've got a lot of defensive people that are new on this team, the San Jose team. You've got the Ragnarsons. You've got the younger players like a Sikora coming back. Does it make your job that much tougher?
Well, not really. You know, I think it's going to help those guys if I'm around. You know, I've been here 5 years now. You know, they're young kids coming into the league. And, you know, I can maybe point them in the right direction. You know, if they're having problems on the ice, off the ice, whatever it is, you know, I'm around to help them out.
Good enough. Now, another question I think is far more important right now, and I know Jason, it's a touchy subject for him right now, is the use of his new helmet here. This is a brand new helmet. It's a Cooper helmet, and Jason, this helmet looks to me like a European kind of thing. I mean, it's not mean like your old helmet.
Well, I'll tell you what's real important now. This is the 90s, and you know, aerodynamics is important. Speed on the ice, and I need all the help I can get out there.
And see, now I want to show you his old helmet, folks. Here's the old helmet right here. This is the old CCM that Jason used to wear. Now you can see the stick marks here. That's where Sergei Fedorov 2 years in the playoffs, 2 years ago, hit him in the head with his stick. I mean, this is like an old-time helmet. It makes you look mean, but this thing here, I mean, you know, what kind of helmet is that?
Well, my best comment, Chris, you know, the only reason, or the only time, or I think I'll get rid of it is, you know, if you come up with a new vest next game, get a close-up of this vest.
All right, now, one other thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up is about bears. If you did not know, seriously, Jason Moore is an accomplished hunter, and he's hunted for bears, and he's caught a couple of bears and shot a couple of bears in his life, and that's got to be an exhilarating kind of thing.
Well, it's quite an experience, yeah.
Oh, folks, wait a second. It looks like you have angered one of the bear family here. It's Gus Grizzly of the... Wait a second. He's got a crossbow here. Wait. No. But he's shooting things. Yeah, put your helmet on. Gus Grizzly, folks, of the San Jose Grizzlies, apparently upset that you have taken liberties with some of his family members.
Family member, yeah. Well, look at the fur on him. It's kind of a mangy-looking thing, isn't he?
Have you ever seen a grizzly bear with a T-shirt on before?
Well, his hair's all balled up, and I don't know. He wouldn't be much of a catch, I don't think.
All right. Anyway, it's in between the first and second periods. Intermission at San Jose Arena. We'll have more after this on Sports Channel.
Don't you just love hockey? What's not to love? You get the wicked slap shots. The bone.
3-1 score. Randy Hahn with the stemmer back at the tank. Time for highlights, Pete.
And the first highlight is the first goal of the game by the San Jose Sharks. Some good forecheck by the Jamie Baker, Jeff Odgers, Dave Brown, and there's the puck coming out in front. Dave Brown just in perfect position. He laid back. That puck comes right to him, and he makes no mistake, giving the Sharks the early 1-0 lead. Now the Vancouver Canucks take over here. Now look at the time here. The time, the shot. And you're going to see Pavel Bure getting this rebound from Mike Ridley, and there's Bure. Nobody on him, gets that stick loose, backhand upstairs, and we've got a 1-1 hockey game at that point.
Then the Canucks score a shorthanded goal, and they're going to be a dangerous team shorthanded this year.
Well, the Sharks are all deep in here. Nazarov on the boards trying to get a diagonal pass. That does not work. Now the race begins. Gelona's going to be over on that other side. The first move by Wade Flaherty tries to get the stick out, goes down. Gelona spots that. He gets it up and over the crossbar to give the Canucks the 2-1 lead. Now the Canucks once again take advantage here. Cliff Ronning, Baker trying to dump the puck out, killing a penalty, but Cliff Ronning picks it up, and there's no Sharks around them. They're all peeling off, taking people. Open ice for Cliff Ronning, and he puts it past Wade Flaherty to give the Vancouver Canucks the 3-1 lead.
Canucks outshot the Sharks 11-7 in that period, outchanced them by a couple, and got the one power play goal on 3 shots. The face-off battle being won by the Sharks so far, 14-10. We've only had a total of 4 penalty minutes in the game so far. Pete, I thought that the Sharks were a little unlucky in that period, especially Jeff Friesen and the rest of that line, especially Ulf Dahlin doing some great work behind the net. Friesen parked in front, paying the price to have a physical presence around the crease, and he just wasn't getting the breaks with the puck.
Yeah, you know, I think that was the best line for the Sharks, Friesen, Falloon, and Dahlin. You see Friesen, a couple of opportunities opportunities in front of the net. He's looking for his first goal of the season. He's getting those chances. When you get the chances, eventually they're going to go in. But the Sharks just have to tighten things up in their own zone. That is where they've had their problems. That's why they are behind in this hockey game.
And I think it wouldn't hurt to test Corey Hirsch a little more. This is only his 5th ever NHL game, his first this season. The Sharks with 7 shots in that first period. I think they'd like to try and see if this guy's got the real stuff tonight or not.
Well, you know, the idea is dump in. He's got to be a little bit nervous out there. Hasn't seen much NHL action. Dump, chase, start playing the body. They did that at times in that first period, but they just didn't do it consistently enough.
All right, we will step aside for a moment, come back to San Jose Arena shortly. It is Vancouver leading the Sharks 3-1 second period right around the corner. Jose Arena, there's a Sharky replica. Festive crowd on hand here as the Sharks finish up this 3-game homestand to start the season. Off to Toronto next Tuesday, then stops at those glorious metropolises, or metropoli, I guess you could call them, Winnipeg and Edmonton. And the Sharks won't be back here for about 10 days when they return just before the end of the month for another homestand.
Well, that's why it's so important to get something in the bank here as this 3-game homestand concluding tonight. A loss, a tie, it'd be nice to pick up a win. You feel a lot better about things as you jet your way east for that 3-game road trip.
In fact, we'll be back on October the 25th when the Winnipeg Jets are here with Keith Tkachuk, Teemu Selanne, and company. There's Kevin Constantine. Mark Kaufman's also on the bench with him, one of the new assistant coaches just to his left. There you see Mark adjusting his jacket. And welcome to Mark Kaufman and Jim Wiley, who, as you probably are aware, came up from Kansas City to join the coaching staff here. Kaufman, an assistant to Wiley with the Blades. Here's the new Dodge standings in the Pacific Division. The LA Kings off to a pretty impressive start, 5 out of a possible 6 points, as they have 2 wins and a tie. Colorado also with 5 points, but they've played 5 games already. Anaheim lost tonight, so they'll stay at the 2-point mark. Sharks with the 1 point from the tie against Boston here on Thursday night, looking for win number 1. Here's Trevor Linden as we're underway with the second period. Centers it off a skate. It was Friesen getting back nicely to help out Wade Flaherty. Sharks clear it out over the blue line. Linden has it again and sends it to Brett Hedican. Here's a nice pass up for Joseph Baranek. He's bumped by Ragnarsson, still on the attack. Now it comes to Flaherty. He is run into by Jelena. We get a whistle. And I would think there's a penalty coming up here, whether or not it's to the Sharks or Canucks. It might be to Friesen.
Well, it is. He had to pull the hook. Great play there by Joseph Baranek, who put the puck through the Shark defenseman and then started breaking in. And he gets some speed. He's going to have a good scoring opportunity. You're going to see the play right here. See the puck through the legs. Ragnarsson misses up on him. That's where Friesen, or Ozelinch, I should say, jumps into the picture to prevent Baranek from breaking through all alone. And it's the kind of a play that Ozelinch just has to make, because Ragnarsson let his guy go, beaten on a one-on-one. The other defenseman sliding by and has to pick up the slack. Ozelinch in the penalty box.
Hooking's the call at 28 seconds. Vancouver goes to the power play for the second time this evening. Jyrki Lumme, number 21, up at the right point. Click Ronning tossed it toward the net. Sikora blocked it. Sharks can't clear it out. Here's Dave Babbage to Ronning. Loads up, fires, and Flaherty may have gotten a piece of that. And it's cleared down the ice by Jamie Baker. 3-1, Vancouver leading, and on the power play early in period 2. Ronning, checked by Baker. Oh, if Jamie turns the other way, he's got a chance to walk in on Corey Hirsch. As it is, Linden comes back. He's got Roman Iksuta with him. Peels off, gives it back to Lumme. His shot partially blocked. Trickles over to Linden on the right wing. He'll back off and give to the point. Lumme sends it short back to Linden. Now across for Babbage. His shot blocked by Baker, knocked down by Donovan. Sharks can't get it out. Here's Iksuta, tied up by Baker. Now Babbage holds it in. Ronning, dishing to Iksuta. 2-on-1 with Linden. Iksuta, backhand. Oh, he thought Lumme had his face turned to him, but he didn't, and the Canucks squander a good opportunity.
The Sharks just within a couple of feet of getting that puck over the blue line and just unable to do so.
Russ Courtnall on a nice pass from this side, gives it back to Pavel Bure, winds up, shoots. Flaherty saves it, it bounces over the top of the net. It's kept alive along the near boards by Pavel Bure. Now Ridley into the corner for McGillney. He sidesteps a check from Jay Moore. Now it's Courtnall centering it for Ridley, who kicked his right skate out toward it. And this will come all the way back to the blue line of Vancouver. Pavel Bure, who has one of the 3 Canuck goals, putting on a little skating display here, but so is Ray Whitney in pursuit of him. Now Bure with a head of steam through center ice. Now pulls up to the line, gives to McGillney. One move past Refsey, shot it just wide. Jeff Brown dumps it along the boards for Ridley. Ridley over the left point. Courtnall tried to pass it from there, and a 2-on-1 for the Sharks. Friesen and Whitney. Ray Whitney down the wing, waits, shoots, saved by Hirsch, and the rebound steered behind the net by Courtnall.
Good thing Mike Ridley came back. He saved the day for the Canucks right there.
Here's Courtnall across the line. That's deflected up into the seats. And the power play for Vancouver is over. So the Sharks almost get a goal of their own, but they kill off the man advantage. Well, Shark School is coming up. We have 3 sessions for off-ice clinics on how to learn the finer points of the sport of hockey. Coming up in November, and among the instructors, our very own Pete Stemkowski.
I will be there.
It will be the experience of a lifetime, I promise you.
I'd like to think so.
Call 999-5844 here in the 408 area code in San Jose, and we'll get you all set up for Shark School. 3 sessions coming up in November.
Very casual. No dress code required. Show up.
Tim Hunter. And it's Tom Peterson bringing it back for the Sharks. Drops it for Igor Larionov. Larionov waits. Shot kicked out by Hirsch. Big rebound, but it went to a Canuck. Gino Ojic receiving it off Hirsch's very active pad. Flaherty. It rides the boards down to Peltonen. Now Nazarov tried to get a pass out to Larionov that's broken up. Here's Ojic. Look for Hunter up the middle, and Peltonen's got it. He and Nazarov come through center ice and change spots. Back for Larionov. Shot saved by Hirsch. And he'll hold it right there for a faceoff in the Vancouver zone. 16:29 left here in the second period. Still 3-1 Canucks on Sports Channel. Vancouver leading the Sharks 3-1 here at the arena. We have IHL action coming up on Sports Channel. San Francisco Spiders against the Las Vegas Thunder. That'll be live from the Cow Palace. Tuesday night at 7:30 only here on Sports Channel.
Well, Sharks had a chance here on a shorthanded situation. Ray Whitney and Jeff Friesen going to combine. There you see Friesen with the puck. Gives it over to Ray Whitney. I think Ray here, this takes a little bit too much time. You see Mike Ridley, 17, coming in. And great play by Ray Whitney. Just gave too much time to Mike Ridley to come back. And just broke that up at the last moment. Woof.
Whitney back on the bench now, and you saw Friesen out on the ice there briefly as the puck goes out of play off the faceoff.
Well, that was a big penalty kill for the Sharks. They're down 3-1. We got 16 minutes to go here in the second. 20 minutes to go in the third, but you certainly do not want to fall behind by 3 goals in a hockey game.
Off the draw, it goes to the corner for the veteran Dave Babich. Babich, number 44, up for Baranek. He couldn't control it. Ragnarsson steers it to the boards. Drops down behind Friesen. Here's a break for Linden. Trevor Linden down the left side. Stick handle, shot saved by Flaherty. And Friesen digs it out of the pile. Here's Dahlin with Friesen and Flume. They have been effective so far tonight, creating a number of chances. Mistake by Hirsch back there. Here's Flume centering, and Friesen couldn't find it. Boy, Jeff Friesen is just having some bad puck luck in front of the net. Here's Linden breaking in. Saved by Flaherty. Big stop by Wade Flaherty off the Canucks captain Trevor Linden.
Yeah, a great save, but he had Martin Jelena over on the other side, wide open, and all Linden had was the eye for the goal. And as soon as he dipped that shoulder and was prepared to shoot it, Wade Flaherty comes out and made the save, but Linden had that play on the other side. Here he's coming in. Not going to see it left your screen. He's going to enter it now. Jelena was over on the other side, wide open. Here's the play. Here's Trevor Linden, big power forward, getting that puck, breaking in loose. See, the longer he holds on, just running out of ice room there. And Wade Flaherty with the save.
Off the draw, there's a block by Whitney. Jeff Brown held him up. No penalty, though. And Whitney will chase it down, but McGillney beats him to it. Here's Moore on the boards. Gets it behind the net for Whitney. He's got a man in front, Donovan. A block there on the pass, though, by Brown. And now it's slapped back in by Michael Sikora. Well, Corey Hirsch venturing out of his goal crease there, and it was quite an adventure, almost a costly one. Here's McGillney with Otsuda, pulls up, shoots, scores. Alexander McGillney pulled the trigger. Wayne Flaherty thought he had it in the glove, but didn't, and it's 4-1.
Second goal of the season for Alexander McGillney, and well, we talk about those odd man rushes, and the Vancouver Canucks had a couple, 3 of them in that first period. You get another one here, and you get a guy like Alexander McGillney who scored over 70 goals a couple of years back, and you give him an opportunity like this, he's going to cash in. Here he's coming down, stops, and everybody just keeps going. And here's McGillney looking around. Flaherty gets a piece of it. Look, he's looking down, and it just trickles in over the red line. 4-1 Vancouver.
McGillney's second of the season. Otsuda and Brown pick up the assists at 4:45. Here's Bure behind his own net. Jyrki Lumme there, back for Pavel Bure. Ridley trying to leave it for Courtnall, broken up in the neutral zone.
Don't forget, Vancouver had a 5-1 lead against Los Angeles the other night. Blew that, so never know.
A lead pass for Courtnall, and Rathje will get to this for the icing call against Vancouver with 14:41 left to go here in the second period. Well, they sure have not lacked for goal scoring on this road trip, the Canucks. They lost their first game of the season to Detroit 5-3, then went down to LA for that 7-7 tilt on Thursday. They now have 11 goals in less than the last 2 games.
Well, let's look at that goal from our camera downstairs. There's the shot by McGillney, and there's Flaherty. He gets his body right in perfect position, and he did get a piece of it, but it had enough force on it to cross the red line.
Here's Courtnall, now wants Bure. He's got some skating room. Releases a quick snapshot that Peterson blocked. Out of the corner, it's dumped behind the Sharks net by Rathje. Tom Peterson advancing the puck up to Larionov now at center with Nazarov. He'll take it, trying to go wide on Lumme, who steers him to the ice. And a penalty. Jyrki Lumme is going to be called there for the hold on Nazarov, and the Sharks will get the power play.
Lumme's not too happy about that one. I'm not sure that Nazarov went to stop and may have just toppled over, but regardless, when you're a big guy like that, the idea is to use that advantage to try and power your way past the defenseman. Here he's coming in, here he's going in, here's Lumme right there. Yeah, right there. See, got him upstairs, but 230 pounds. Lumme saying, what for? He's going to head in, and the Sharks are going to have to get something going here. Ideal situation maybe to get it going here on this power play.
Lumme from Finland goes off for holding at 5:43. Time for the Sharks power play, their second of the evening, but the first one was memorable only in that Vancouver capitalized with a shorthanded goal. Here's Ragnarsson at one point, Ozolin's at the other. He'll one-time a shot, but hit it off the heel of the stick. Now Dahlin behind the net, has Falloon at one side, tries to dish for Ozolin's pinching in, and now a 2-on-1 break for Vancouver. Linden down the wing, pass blocked by Ragnarsson. Well, Ozolin snuck in from the point on that play, designed from Dahlin to go to Ozolin's, but it resulted in an odd man break, and good job by Ragnarsson to prevent the goal.
Ragnarsson also, Randy, good job by the youngster Jeff Friesen, who really had to put his head down, come back, and catch up to Martin Jelena. That was the guy that Trevor Linden was trying to get the puck to. Take a look at it here. Here's the 2-on-1. The Sharks trying to keep it in. Ozolin's jumping into the hole. Now the 2-on-1 break. Look at Friesen right of your screen. There's the play, Linden. Now Friesen's coming in. He's going to tie up the... Well, he didn't quite get to him. I think that puck may have hit Ragnarsson's stick at the last minute and rolled harmlessly into the corner.
Still good hustle by the now sophomore forward, Jeff Friesen. Coaches like to see that on the tape when they review it later. Shows the guys working without the puck. Here's Ragnarsson now at the left point, quickly over to Ozolin's. He settles and shoots. Hurts the save. Rebound. Donovan couldn't get his stick free for the shot. Bure had him tied up, and it comes out over the glass.
You know, that's in front of the net. So important to get that puck away. Sean Donovan, sometimes you get that puck and you're just trying to take that extra second to make sure that you get good wood on it. Sean Donovan may have waited that split second too long, and by the time he did get it away, the Canuck player was able to just deflected in and up and over the glass. 1:10 left here on the Sharks power play.
Janney now off the draw. It'll come to Hedican. He lost it down low. Whitney trying to muscle him off the puck. Good work by Ray Whitney. Now back to the point for Ozolinsh. He waited, got a good pass away. Nice passing, and Janney missed wide. That might have been deflected off the leg of the defenseman Hedican, but good pinpoint passing by the Sharks on the power play there. Ridley takes it into the offensive zone with 45 to go in the power play and try to tie up there for a faceoff. McGillney had it for a moment, but now it's Ozolinsh with it for San Jose. 3 or make it 4-1 for Vancouver as Janney comes across the line. Leaves it for Donovan. Sean Donovan into the circle. Now looks back to the point. Ragnarsson one-times it. Hirsch partially screened by Hedican, but he hung tough and made the stop with 23 to go in the power play.
Marcus Ragnarsson didn't get all of that one, but it was a bit of a floater there, and lucky for Corey Hirsch, there wasn't anybody in front screening him on that particular play. But you know, the goalkeeper, you expect a shot coming about 90, 95 miles an hour there when you get a knuckleball like that coming at you, but he was able to handle that with 23 seconds left here in their power play.
Boy, Ragnarsson is getting a lot of ice time in only his 3rd NHL game. Got to remember, this guy is a rookie. He's maybe not your prototypical rookie because of the World Championship level experience he had with Sweden, but at 24 he still qualifies. Here's Peltonen, another rookie behind the net, looking for an open man. It's Peterson back at the point. He'll wind it up for Brathwaite. His shot goes wide. Peterson now along the boards for Nazarov, and it's cleared down the ice. Flaherty will stop this, and the Vancouver power play, or the Shark power play, is over as Lumi's back on the ice. So it's still 4-1. Nice job by Peltonen to keep it onside there. Here's Billy Peltonen, saved by Hurt. Nazarov on the rebound, back across for Peltonen. He crashes the net, then he's upended. And back comes Vancouver. Linden across the blue line with Peretic. Marianov coming back, stripped into the puck. Now Culmore checked by Peltonen as the Canucks have to clear the zone with 11:50 to go here in the second period. Babbage spun around by Larionov. Here's Nazarov. Has a man with Dave Brown. Nazarov centers, scores! Dave Brown scores to make it 4-2.
You know, a couple of guys were on Dave Brown. Shows his strength. Nazarov wide, draws the defender, but there you see Dave Brown. He had a guy on him, hooking him all the way, but go for the net, get your stick on the ice. But look, great offensive effort here by Andre Nazarov, and Dave Brown goes for the net. Puck right there, and he puts it in, and Dave Brown gets his second goal of this hockey game.
Brown with the goal at 8:19. Nazarov will get one of the assists, and the Sharks cut the deficit to a couple. Of shot by Brown, whistles high and into the corner. Jay Moore clears it out past center ice. Jeff Brown back for Vancouver, up to Tim Hunter on the right wing. Hunter dumps it in. Chasing it is Walker. He rides Moore into the corner. It's cleared out there by Dave Brown, and this will be icing against the Sharks. Nazarov will be given the only assist on the goal, but what a night for Dave Brown. A 2-goal effort for number 21. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, tickets issued for tonight's game.
Hey. .33-year-old Dave Brown had never scored against Vancouver in 32 prior games, Pete, and now he's got 2.
Well, he was due.
Yeah, he was due over a 14-year career. Never scored against the Canucks. In fact, you got to go back 4 years to find a season when he had more than 2 goals all year. Great night for Dave Brown. Sharks fans loving it too, but the Sharks still have their work cut out for them. Trailing by 2 here as we approach the middle point of the hockey game. 10:41 left to go in the second period. It's 4-2 Canucks. Here's Brett Hedican. He'll take the blue line, give from McGillney, and he flips it right at Flaherty. And Wade will hold it there for a face-off.
16-14 the shots on goal. We still got a half a game to go here. And Sharks coming on a little bit here. They got to create some offense, get that puck inside the Vancouver zone, and not spend a great deal of time in their own zone, and when and if they do that, get that puck up and out and over the blue line and gain the zone. That's where some of their troubles have been in this hockey game tonight.
Kevin Constantine's going to have a problem. Dave Brown didn't exactly come here for his goal scoring prowess. He was here for his physical presence, clearly. Now Kevin's got a goal scorer on his hands. What do you do with him?
Well, he might be in the office come Monday and say he wants to be on the power play now. And what do you do?
Rathje winds up, but his stick was interfered with as he released that blast from well across the blue line. Now here's Donovan with a nice steal on the boards. Gets it to the point. Rathje touch pass for Janney, but he lost it in his skates. Good forecheck by Donovan. Turns the puck over again. Here's Whitney. Roman Exuda gets it back momentarily. Here's Donovan. Plays it to an open wing. Whitney there to get it. Sharks setting up here now. Whitney dumps it to the corner. Janney will be there. Gets it in front. Donovan didn't see it coming. Hurst did touch it. Whitney gives for Donovan. Whitney heads to the net. He's brought down. Penalty Vancouver as Jeff Brown hauls down Whitney. Great play by Whitney. He paid the price at the boards, kept the play alive for Janney, then went straight to the net and draw the penalty.
Randy, we talk about so often about getting the puck out of your own zone. Roman Exuda had the puck along the boards. All he has to do is bank it off the boards, flip it over the blue line out of danger. Doesn't do that. Sharks quickly jump in on that loose puck, and now the fun begins. Donovan, Whitney, a give and go. Donovan, then he breaks for the net, and Jeff Brown behind him just gave him a little push from behind. Whitney going down, and Don Koharski, the referee, on the call for an obstruction interference call here at 10:18 of the second period.
So a power play for the Sharks, and so far, Pete, the officials aren't backing off on these calls at all. And hopefully the Sharks can benefit from it this time. They could use a power play goal here. Larionov, Peltonen, and Nazarov up front with Ragnarsson and Ozolinsh. And here's Ozolinsh, and he couldn't receive the pass from really Peltonen. It comes all the way back to Wade Flaherty. Now Larionov starts out methodically from his own end. Short pass for Ragnarsson, who fanned on it, and it breaks down there. Linden tried to send it in for Hedican, and beware of these Canucks shorthanded. We've already been witness to that in the first period when they scored a shorty, their third of the year. Ozolinsh to center, blasts it from there. Larionov picks it off the boards. Nice finesse play there to keep it away from Jelena, who then fell on it. Then it was poked out of the zone by Hedican. Oh, Linden almost stripped it of Ozolinsh. Now there is Jelena. Shot, and Flaherty saves it, dropped it, covered up. But Sandis Ozolinsh almost got burned up in the neutral zone.
One of the things that are so important when you're the last guy, don't try and get too fancy because there's nobody back there to cover up for you. And Sandis Ozolinsh is excellent with the puck, but you're in the neutral zone there. All your guys are going ahead, and Trevor Linden strips you of the puck. Look at Ozolinsh right there. He's looking. Now he tries to beat Trevor Linden. Linden able to poke check it, and Canucks come down and able to get themselves a shot on goal. There it is right there. There's the shot. There's Flaherty come up with a save on Jyrki Lumme.
Still a minute 5 to go in the power play as Ozolinsh sits down for a while now, and they put Rathje on that point. Out with Ragnarsson. Here's Rathje in his first game of the season after missing the first two on the injured reserve list with an injury. Here's Dahlin. Dumps it in. Hirsch out to play it up the boards. Nice knockdown by Dahlin. He gives the backdoor pass to Falloon, but he took too much time. It was poked away from him. Now Babbage falls in the corner. It comes to Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson throws it at Friesen a little high. Back to the point. Rathje shot. Saved by Hirsch. Rebound. Friesen. Falloon. Saved by the defenseman Babbage, who was helping out Hirsch down there. Now Ragnarsson. One time by Rathje. Big rebound again. And it comes out of the zone. Here's Pavel Bure. He's got Portnoy to the left, but two men back for the Sharks. Bure waiting, moving, shooting. Flaherty the save. Oh, what a move by Bure there.
Dancing on his skate.
Here's Dahlin, still 15 to go in the power play. This line's a little tired, though. Falloon for Friesen. Back to the point. One last crack at it here for Sikora. Shot. That one hit Dahlin. He's then tripped by the stick of Jyrki Lumme. no penalty, and the power play's over. And a 3-on-1 as Brown steps out of the penalty box to join it. And Flaherty the save off Loomy.
Bad line change for the Sharks.
Here's Friesen, and he's going to ice it. He wants to come off, and the Sharks got caught up, you're right, Pete, in trying to get their power play unit off, and they stranded their goaltender, Wade Flaherty, with a 3-on-1 to face, but he got him out of it. 4-2 the score. Vancouver will be right back.
I got a woman, she makes me pay. I fly Southwest.
Time to check the MasterCard scoreboard. MasterCard, it's more than a credit card. It's smart money. These are all finals now. Hartford a winner at home over Chicago. 3-2 the score there. Elsewhere, Pittsburgh beats Anaheim 5-2. Mario Lemieux with the 3-point night for the Penguins. New Jersey knocks off Montreal 4-1. The Canadiens now 0-4 to start the season. Ouch. Philadelphia shuts out the Islanders 3-0. Eric Lindros with a goal in that one. Washington over Tampa Bay 2-0. The Rangers blank Toronto. That's a final 2-0 score as New York gets some fine goaltending. St. Louis a 4-1 winner over Colorado. This is also final. Dallas over Boston 5-4. Todd Ellick with 2 goals for the losing Bruins. Here's Alexander McGillney now for Vancouver. They lead at 4-2. Nice move got around Sikora, who's going to get a penalty.
He's gonna get an obstruction penalty here.
Absolutely, and it was hooked by Sikora on McGillney, who went around him. And actually, McGillney wasn't a factor after that because he had already dished the puck off. But
yes, you know, those defensemen, they know McGillney's speed. They know he's trying to get in the open. And Sikora does not like the call. But here's McGillney dumping the puck. Now, really, Sikora could just, he could leave him a go. Now he's going to reach out with that stick. See that right there, and tugs at his pants a little bit, and well, pretty good fall there by Alexander McGillney to draw that penalty call against Mike Sikora.
Tripping the call by referee Don Kaharski at 12:53. So the second period is kind of grinding along here as a period of a lot of special team play. 4th straight minor penalty call here, and it has resulted in no goals by either side so far. At least on the special team side of things. Both teams have scored in this second period. And there's Baker with an intercept. Tried to play it up for Tom Peterson, but it was blocked by Courtnall. Here comes the Canucks. Courtnall wanted that one from McGillney, but couldn't reach it in time. Baker will dump it down the ice. 6:48 left to go in the second period. It's Vancouver 4 and the Sharks 2. Both these teams looking for their first victories of the season, respectively. Peterson not going to gamble with it down there with the Canuck forwards flooding the zone. Just slapped it down the ice. Now here's Jeff Brown. And Moore breaks it up at center ice. Good penalty kill here for the Sharks. Now the Canucks get some fresh people on. Here's Bure up the middle. He's got Ridley to his right. Linden over on the left point side. Little backhand spin around pass. Ozolin's point that up. And now Jeff Friesen with it. Friesen with Whitney. And Ozolin's catching up to help out. Ozolin's bumped off the puck as he ran into Bure, but he does get it deep into the zone. 52 seconds left in the Vancouver power play. Here's Ozolin slapping it up the boards. And out it comes off Jeff Brown's stick.
I'll tell you, Bure stays out there for the whole 2 minutes of the power play.
Ozolin gets a piece of Linden, but it was as the whistle was blowing, offside called against Vancouver.
Well, Bure, one of the goal scorers in this one. You see he's tired. He's heading back, playing the point on the power play. And Sharks very effective by not allowing the Vancouver Canucks to get inside their own zone, chasing the puck down in the Vancouver zone, tying up the puck carrier in the neutral zone, and they were very effective, but they still got 40 seconds of this Sikora penalty to kill.
A look from behind. Corey Hirsch, former New York Ranger, came over in a trade to Vancouver, and they love the guy, and he is the #2 man now behind Kurt McLean, who gets the night off, and boy, he needed it after Thursday night's blowout in LA. It was not a blowout for either team because it was a tie, but both goalies in the game got blown out. Here's Donovan with Baker. Donovan waiting, wants some help up at the point, gives to Baker. Back to Donovan. Takes a shot. First rebound, and it comes out to Trevor Linden. Sean Donovan getting a chance there shorthanded. Now it's Linden with Hennigan. Plays it behind to Oksuda, and that's saved by Flaherty. Nice pass by Linden to Roman Oksuda.
Great. You know, that Trevor Linden, he's one of the better players. He has about 2 or 3 options. He waits for them to develop, and then he picks the best one. And Oksuda had a great scoring opportunity.
Sikora tried to wave at it as he came out of the penalty box. Full strength now, but Oksuda trying to work it in front. Has it blocked by Peterson. Now it's Jay Moore with it. He'll try and use the boards to get it out. It hit Kaharski, the referee. And icing will be the call against San Jose with 4:49 left in the second period. It's the Vancouver Canucks 4, the Sharks 2 on Sports Channel.
We talk about some of the big contracts that the Vancouver Canucks. Trevor Linden getting a $2 million and change. He's playing in his 378th straight game. And of course, the record by Doug Jarvis, who played 964 straight games.
Hunter shot high, and Peltonen will clear it out over the blue line. Hunter dumps it back in as the Sharks try and get out of their end, but Vancouver with a good forecheck going right now. That time it's beaten, but they get it back at center ice. Nazarov blocking a pass, but Peltonen overskated it. Here come the Canucks. Hunter. A shot that Flaherty reached out for and missed. I think it was wide. Now a centering pass, but that'll go across to Billy Peltonen. Peltonen for Nazarov with Larionov. Andre trying to go around the defenseman, Tullamore, and almost did. Now here's Babbage through center ice for the Canucks. Drop pass. That's intercepted by Nazarov. And now Larionov with it. He'll turn away from traffic. Tim Hunter pursuing him. Got a piece of the puck. Now it comes to Jelena. Sikora steps up. He'll get it past center ice and up for Dahlin. Now Dahlin with Nazarov and Larionov. Oh, Dahlin shot high. That hit something and went over Hirsch's glove. And the Canucks come back. Walker up to center ice for Jelena. Jelena drop pass. Here's Baranek walking in. Backhand shot saved by Flaherty. Joseph Baranek still with it. Lots of skating room. Backhander blocked by Jelena. He'll send it back to the point. Brown, a shot tipped wide. Oh boy, Baranek's having a good shift. He got a piece of that tip too.
He's fresh. He just came on off the bench, so he's got a lot of steam out there. Ragnarsson up for Friesen. He can't control it off the boards, and the Canucks right now have the full court press on here. The Sharks can't get to center ice. Ozelinch gives it away up the boards to Falloon, and then took a pretty bad hit in the corner from Trevor Linden. He had to cover up because Linden had him in a bad angle. Now Ragnarsson steps up. Nice move coming out of the zone to the blue line, but he put Friesen offside. That last little fake right before he crossed the line, trying to fake out Tullamore, put Friesen over the blue line a little too early. Well, here's a chance for you to entertain clients with a beautiful behind-the-scenes VIP tour of San Jose Arena. It includes entrance into the club for the evening dinner and seats on the glass for up-close action. If you'd like more information on a specialty tour of San Jose Arena, including tickets to the game, call 408-999-5823. There's some folks enjoying one of the great viewing points from here at San Jose Arena. There's a shot. Hirsch from the bad angle knocked it down, and he's been pretty solid for the Vancouver Canucks so far tonight. Pavel Bure lost it, and Rafchi will control it behind the Sharks net. Plays it up for Sean Donovan, who took it on the backhand, but then lost it. Portnoy trying to get through a lot of traffic, couldn't. Whitney up for Janney. Janney across to Donovan. Knocks it down with the glove. Donovan with it now. Has 2 men with him. The pass. Oh, he might have tried to reach with that one because Peterson had 2 defenders between him and the puck. Gotta shoot it then. Gotta shoot it.
Rafchi across center. He'll flip it in. The Sharks peel off and change with 2:07 left in the second period. Still 4-2 Vancouver. Here's Bure across the blue line. Nobody else with him, and he'll look back against the flow for a late comer. It was Ridley, but he couldn't control it. A lot of Sharks around him, and it's dumped back in again. Hirsch settling it behind the Vancouver goal. Fights off the pressure of Larionov. Now Nazarov out of the corner. Gave it back to Bure. Here's Mike Ridley, former Toronto Maple Leaf. And it's flipped by Russ Courtnall deep into the Shark zone. Ridley came over in an offseason trade for Sergio Momesso, who's now with the Leafs.
Canucks giving up a little bit of size on that one, but they still had enough. Big team.
McGillney give and go with Ronning. McGillney far side. Oh, what a chance for Roman Otsuda. He's had about 4 tonight, but they score. The Sharks now trail by 3, and it's Alexander McGillney from a very bad angle. Made a nice play, and it's 5-2.
Well, he made the play, but it was Cliff Ronning who followed up on that play and got that puck over to Alexander McGillney, and he gets that one at 1:16 left here in the second period, and that's the follow-up. Is Otsuda has a good chance, and you get guys like McGillney, they know exactly where to go and get themselves open. There's the play right there, the save, and you're going to see right to your right of your screen how McGillney very wisely gets himself in that position. Cliff Ronning sees that, just lays a quick short pass to McGillney, and he makes no mistake on that one.
Ronning gets the only assist on McGillney's second goal of the night, 3rd of the season. Here he comes again. Had to look back for it, though, and put himself offside. Well, Alexander McGillney's flying tonight. Bure has a goal, and the Canucks at least are picking up right where they left off offensively against LA the other night. S.J. Sharkey looking for a little divine intervention here.
You need some of that, down 3 goals here. And McGillney, a lot of ice time. Time you look down there, Pavel Bure's out there, Trevor Linden's out there. They got a lot of solid veterans that lead to much of the success that the Canucks do have.
Baranek wins the faceoff just across the blue line, fired in from the left side. And now it's forced out by the Sharks. Canucks pick it right back up again. They've now added an assist to Otsuda for that last Vancouver goal. Here's a chance. Dahlin with a shot. Corey Hirsch came out to cut off the angle.
This line has really had some scoring opportunities. Dahlin, Friesen, and Paloonen. They keep getting those opportunities, and going to start going in for those guys.
Down to 35 seconds left in the period. Friesen has it swept away by Jeff Brown. Now Dahlin trying to work the boards, gets it free for a moment, but Jelena comes back the other way. Ozelins lined him up, but then didn't really check him as he'd already released the puck. Ragnarsson behind the net. Time running down here in the middle period. Cullimore just taps it to the boards. Friesen gets it up for Dahlin. And the play here between the blue lines for the moment. Here's Falloon, shot with a few seconds left, blocked by Brown, and that's going to do it for the second period. A second period that saw the Vancouver Canucks build on their lead. It was a 2-goal lead after the first period, and now as the teams head to their respective dressing rooms, the Canucks enjoy a 3-goal advantage. As we look at the second period scoring, Alexander McGillney started it off from Roman Otsuda and Jeff Brown at 4:45 to make it 4-1. Then Dave Brown of the Sharks got his second goal of the game. At 8:19, Andre Nazarov with the assist to cut the lead to just 2. But late in the period, as you just saw, McGillney scoring for the second time at 18:44 from Ronning and Otsuda. And that's where we are after 40 minutes here at San Jose Arena. It's Vancouver 5, the Sharks 2. We'll be back with second intermission and more on Sports Channel.
Tense moments. Outstanding shots.
San Jose Arena, second intermission. The Vancouver Canucks with an impressive first showing of the season in this building, leading the San Jose Sharks by a score of 5-2, but still a period left to go. And, well, at least in the first game of the season, the Sharks played a strong third period. That wasn't necessarily the case the other night against Boston, but hopefully they can turn it here in the third. Time to check in with Chris Collins. He's alongside veteran defenseman Jeff Brown. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Randy and Pete. Here with, as you said, Jeff Brown, and you got to be happy as he's sucking down some Coca-Cola right now. I want to get him some energy. It's a very good performance by a veteran team. It's very fast and great in the transition game.
Yeah, we're playing a lot better tonight. We started off well the other night in LA, and then got a little greedy, I think, and we forgot about our own end. And this team's got enough offensive power that I think if we take care of the defensive zone, we'll score some goals.
You know, Jeff Brown did something very unique when the Canucks made it to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost a heartbreaker in 7 games to the Rangers. You had a baby daughter right when the Stanley Cup playoffs started, and her name's Jenna, correct?
Yeah, Jenna.
All right, and you were writing her name on the blade of your stick, then taping over it and playing with that. That's sort of unique. Do you still practice that?
No, actually, she was born 2 days before the finals. and I flew back to St. Louis for the berth, and went on adrenaline basically the 7 games against New York. It was pretty exciting, and I was just thinking about her one night before the game, taping my sticks, and I thought I'd write her name, and went out and scored a goal in Game 5 and then 2 in Game 6, so it worked out well.
All right, Quebec, St. Louis, and now Vancouver. I want to know, do you have any stock in any trading companies like Beacons? You want some? I got a good stockbroker right now.
No, 3's enough. Hopefully I'll finish my career here in Vancouver.
You know, one person that was part of that deal when you were in St. Louis, and many fans may not remember this, is Craig Janney. He was pretty upset with the St. Louis management. He didn't go. Talk to us a moment about Craig Janney as a person and a former teammate.
CJ's a great player. He's in my books, top 3 passers in the league. He made Brendan Shanahan's a great scorer, but he made him a 50-goal scorer, and I got a lot of admiration for Craig, and he competes every night. There's been a knock on him about that, but I didn't see it when I played with him in St. Louis. He wants to win as bad as anybody, and he's come here and he's added a lot to this hockey club.
You know, it's interesting. He doesn't, obviously, Jeff Brown has not played cards with Craig Janney because Craig Janney's one of the biggest sandbaggers ever. He takes everybody's money on all the team charters. Did he ever get anything out of you?
Yeah, he did on the golf course, actually, at his wedding 3 years ago. But, yeah, he's a sandbagger, but he's good at it.
One more question. Jamie Baker grew up in Ottawa. Jeff Brown grew up in Ottawa. How do you know this guy? And we want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Bakes and I grew up together in Nepean, played for the Nepean Raiders and minor hockey together, and went our separate ways when we turned about 15, and sort of lost touch with him, and I found out he was headed for a Hobie Baker in St. Lawrence, and he's come a long way, and he's a great player. He's a really smart player, and we're good friends, and it's nice to get together when we're in town.
You know, one last thing here. They're playing in the new GM Place in Vancouver. That's the new home of the Vancouver Canucks. Any deals for free Chevrolets since you play in there?
No, we're working on it, though. I mean, GM Place, you got to figure we got to get a deal.
Come on. Sure. You do. Cut me in on one. Listen, I wish you a lot of success, continued luck. You're a gentleman, and I thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
There's Jeff Brown. We're going to break right now. We want to remind you our score here is 5-2 after 2 periods of play at San Jose Arena, and we'll have more after this on Sports Channel.
After 65 years of bachelorhood, Howard Hudson used it to meet the woman of his dreams.
The San Jose Sharks hosting Vancouver Canucks tonight on Sports Channel. This is how the 1995-96 San Jose Sharks were built. 12 players on the roster, drafted by the Sharks, 6 free agents on the roster. Other drafts from expansion 5 years ago, 4 players still on the roster, and the Sharks have 3 players on their roster that they picked up in trades over the last few years. Joining us now is General Manager Dean Lombardi to talk a little bit about the team as it exists right now. And Dean, for the last 3 or 4 years, as you've been trying to put this team together, you know, we've heard about the Kozlovs and the Rathjes and the Donovans and the Friesens and the Ragnarsons and Sikoras, etc. Now you've got them all together here at one time. Is this the core of players that you hope can take this team to a Stanley Cup in a few years?
Yeah, it's obvious we've been building around these players for a long time and planning for this day. Missing. I always said he was a bigger, faster, stronger, and tougher Bob Erie, and he gets in people's face. He makes things awfully difficult for the defensemen. And I think as he gets his confidence, as he's shown already, that he's going to score some goals for us. And he goes and gets pucks, and we didn't always have that. And people can go get pucks, to allow the skilled players to pick them up and make some plays.
Lombardi. Second intermission here at San Jose Arena. The Sharks and the Vancouver Canucks. We'll be back with more on Sports Channel right after this. Spot 2 here on Sports Channel. Time for a look at the 3 second period goals. Pete Stemkowski.
Well, a couple of them coming by Alexander Mogilny. You're going to see the Vancouver Canuck goalkeeper Corey Hirsch driving the puck along the boards, and here you're going to see the Canucks coming out of their zone, breaking up and dumping the puck in. And here's McGillney coming in. He's got a player on the other side, but he just stops it. Everything just keeps going. And actually, Wade Flaherty did get a piece of that one, but McGillney got enough on that to put it in for his first goal of the hockey game. Now you're going to see a nice play by Andrei Nazarov right here. gets the blue line, going wide, takes a defenseman with him. Dave Brown going for the net. Here's a nice backhand pass by Nazarov, and Dave Brown's right there for his second goal of the hockey game. Then McGillney strikes again as he gets himself in good position, as again the Canucks carry the puck over the blue line. Maksuto's going to have a pretty good scoring opportunity right there, just gets it wide. But watch Cliff Ronning on the right of your screen, gets the puck. McGillney sees that, goes for the net. Just a quick short pass by Ronning right on the stick of McGillney, and he makes no mistake on that play.
And that's all the scoring from the second period. Sharks actually outshot the Canucks in that second period. 12-10 for the night, though. The Canucks with a 2-shot advantage, outchancing the Sharks by a couple. Sharks have been 0 for 3 on the power play so far, and in fact on one of those power plays the Canucks scored a shorthanded goal along with their power play goal. In the face-off department, Canucks caught up a little bit in that second period, 24-23, the Sharks leading in face-off so far. Pete, the Sharks have been a little unlucky at times. I think they've also given guys like Alexander McGillney maybe a little too much room to work with, and have had to take some unfortunate penalties from time to time to try and slow them down. What do you strategize here for the third period?
Well, you know, they're going to have to put the padlock on that door. I mean, the Canucks got enough goals. You can't allow them anymore, but they've got some guys that can put it in, like Burry, McGillney. You got to neutralize those guys. Got to get that puck up inside the Vancouver Canucks zone, get more shots on goal, and obviously they have to score the next goal in this game if they're going to come back and tie the Canucks or get themselves something out of this game.
Yeah, that'd be nice as they get set to head on a 3-game road trip. Players coming back out on the ice. We're set to go, and we'll come back with the third period on Sports Channel.
Y'all ready for this? Here comes Friesen over the blue line, and ooh, he's hauled down.
Room. Another sellout crowd here at San Jose Arena, 17,190. That is the 46th straight sellout, 62 out of the last 63 in what are called the best fans in hockey.
Yep.
And right now they don't enjoy the tally on the scoreboard so far, but still 20 minutes at least to go. And the Sharks have a chance to chip away at this 3-goal Vancouver lead, which of course we know from past experience.
Yeah,
listen to you, Pete. The 3-goal lead is the
worst lead in hockey.
That's right.
Been said by me many times. Well, the fact is there's 20 minutes to go. The Sharks can pick up a goal every 5 minutes in this game. They're right in the thick of the battle as I'm sure, a very concerned Kevin Constantine looking on, and looks at McGillney, who had 3 shots on goal in that second period. Pavel Bury's got 4 for the game so far, and those guys have done the bulk of the damage for the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, let's see what kind of a third period the Sharks can put together early in the season here. They played a strong third period against Chicago in the opener, but kind of fell apart in the third period against Boston when they gave up the 2-goal lead here on Thursday night. Here's Dahlin now. He's got Falloon wide to the left. Olf takes it behind the net. Still has it. Dahlin backhand pass. That hit his skate and caroms all the way out to the Sharks blue line and beyond. Friesen gets and then gives for Dahlin. A little too far out of his reach. Herschel venture out of the cage to send it up the boards. Now Joseph Baranek shoved by Ragnarsson. They both go down to the ice. Linden in the corner for Vancouver. Trevor Linden back to Jason Cullimore, who mishandled it. Here's Jeff Brown. Now Cullimore wants Linden at center ice. Touched his stick, and then he peels off and heads to the Vancouver bench. Ragnarsson played it right to Ridley. Cullimore pursued by Donovan. And that forces a turnover. Janney wants the blue line. Rathje there. A weak shot. And it was actually, I think, a pass intended for Whitney.
He's off balance on that.
Here's Whitney again. Rathje falls again, but now it's Peterson. Across the blue line. Stick check by Russ Portal. Whitney behind the net. Has 2 men in front. Donovan has his stick tied up, and here's Pavel Bure. Bure trying to go one-on-one against Peterson. Sharks get possession back. Here is Whitney over to the left side for Donovan. Sharks trying to get a change here, and now it comes over to Malcock for Vancouver. He'll play it into the Sharks' end. Peterson skates it to the line, and he's tripped up, but gets it deep enough for the Sharks to complete that line change.
What the Canucks do in this zone is just dump it out. And Sharks are making that one pass too many sometimes instead of shooting that puck.
Ronning floats one in that Peltman gets to first. Held in at the point. Goes around the boards. Andre Nazarov will take it there for the Sharks, who need 3 to tie it up here in the third. Peltman can't control the pass. Dave Babbage. Babbage now for the Canucks up to center ice. This game needs, I don't know, a big hit or some rough stuff or something, because
a goal would help.
Goal would help. Sharks. That would do it. Right now it's kind of grinding here in the third. Sharks need to get some jump. Here's Moore waiting for the rest of the Sharks to get back on side. Tim Hunter will sweep it clear. Dave Brown sends it in. Now Odgers stops in front of the Vancouver net. Played by Lumi up for Odgick. Odgick wanted Hunter, in fact gets it back himself. Gino Odgick with Walker. Shot saved by Flaherty. Rebound over to Walker's side. Scott Walker gives it up to Brown, and now here's Ozelin. Ahead for Odgers. Now Baker. This line is counted for both goals tonight. There's the shot by Baker. Rebound came out of the glove of the Vancouver goalie Hirsch, and we have a penalty coming up.
I wonder if it's against Odgers or against the Vancouver Canucks.
It's against Odgers.
For hitting the goalkeeper. We'll be right back.
5-2 Vancouver leading the San Jose Sharks. 16:29 left to go here in the third period.
And the penalty going to Jeff Odgers for goalkeeper interference on this particular play, as Odgers going for the net, got inside that shaded blue area inside the crease and runs into Corey Hirsch. Here's Baker with the puck. He's going to drive it towards the net. Look where Jeff Odgers is. See right there? He knocks over Corey Hirsch, and that's the reason why he is in the penalty box right now.
Well, during this break, true hockey fans will be taking to the ice. Bud Ice. It's the smooth taste that goes down easy. Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. Sharks killing a penalty as Jamie Baker from the draw carries it into the zone. Forward a backhander wide. Now Romanix for the Canucks can't clear it out. Ozelin holds it in at the blue line. Now it comes free to Vancouver as Brown plays it up. Linden, nice little move, gives to Ronning. Here's the pass for Exuda, broken up by Baker. Trevor Linden with the puck. Canucks leading 5-2, looking to build on it here. Shot blocked, and it caroms out past the blue line off Sean Donovan. Linden will get it for the Canucks. Here's Pavel Bure. He scored the second goal of the game, Vancouver's first back in the first period. And it comes out across the line. Brown will have to back up to get it. He turns it up the ice for Ronning. Now Bure intercepted by Whitney. Ray Whitney has some help now. Ozelin takes it down the left side. Winds up. That one deflected off the defenseman Brown, and Hirsch has it in his glove. He's going to be forced to hold it there for a faceoff.
It's okay. The Sharks will take that with 1:03 left of Jeff Odgers' penalty. And Jeff Friesen out there with Ray Whitney to kill this penalty. Sikora and Jason Moore back at the blue line. Very effective job at the penalty killing. Kevin Constantine very pleased with the way Jamie Baker has killed penalties and so far this season. Jeff Friesen has got that speed, had a couple of good scoring opportunities in this game, as you see Friesen heading back to the bench, and that guy Jamie Baker jumping out there once again.
Friesen toughing it out here early in the season. He does not have a point yet after that great rookie campaign last year, but it's tough to do it all again second time around. That's the challenge for all second-year players in this league, especially ones who have impressive rookie years. All right, do it again. You set the standard for yourself pretty high, as Friesen did. It's not that easy.
You know, the teams in the league have heard about him. It's only they play him a little tighter.
And of course, it's an 82-game grind this year for Friesen and everybody else. It's a little different than the 48-game season last year that he got his first taste of professional hockey in, but based on what we know of this young player, Pete, and what we saw last year, it's just a matter of him, I think, getting the first one, and then he'll be on his way.
Well, you know, he's getting opportunities. You know, as a player, you're going through games and you're not getting any opportunities, no scoring chances. You start, you know, wondering what's going on here, but, you know, you start pressing a little bit, but once he gets that first one, I'm sure they'll start coming more regularly. He just has to cash in on that one time. But as we talk about, those opportunities have been there.
I think what also is important too, and we pointed it out earlier when we saw him on a good back check, is, you know, if you aren't scoring as a scoring player, contribute other ways and make yourself valuable even when you're going through a bad stretch. Not to say that this is a stretch yet. It's only 2.5 games in. Canucks with the puck deep in the Sharks zone, still on the power play for another 23 seconds. Been a good penalty kill for the Sharks, and here comes Baker shorthanded with Donovan. Baker on the left side. The shot, Hurst the save, and Hedekyn swept that rebound right out of Hurst's glove. That thing popped up, and Hedekyn, who makes a nice sweeping move there around Donovan, got it away. Here's Portnoy. Taken away by Michael Sikora. He's got Larionov with him. Here's Sikora with the blue line, winds it up. Nice shot. And Corey Hurst well out of the crease, cuts the angle down and squeezes the patch. That does kill off the remainder, however, of the Vancouver power play.
Sikora, big size, 225 pounds, and missed a good portion of the season last year with that shoulder injury. And the Sharks are very high on him. Good puck skills. Got a little bit of a mean streak in him. He's got size, and he's got all the physical ingredients to really be an impact player in the National Hockey League.
Now in his 3rd season, and you talked about last season being interrupted for the most part with injury, but only 22 years of age. And Steve Lombardi was discussing with us in the second intermission. Those are the names, no doubt, that come up when teams talk trade with the Sharks. The Rathjes, the Sikoras, the Ozolinches. You get big, strong, skillful defensemen. Everybody wants those. Nazarov, who's a big bruiser, tied up down low as the Sharks trying to battle here to get a goal. Puck came in front. Nazarov trying to glove it down. Pelton almost had the centering pass there for Larionov. It was just tipped away by Linden. Good work down low by Nazarov and Pelton. Pelton grabbed onto by Tim Hunter. Poked away to Larionov. He's got Pelton on his left. Igor backs up at the point, dumps it down low. Hurst waiting for help, turned over. Oh, Nazarov just overskated it. Good pressure there by Nazarov at one end and Pelton at the other. They had the Canuck defenseman Malcock all tied up. There's a shot and a goal. Scott Walker makes it 6-2. Canucks with a blast from the face-off circle.
That one hurts big time. There was a 3-on-2 break, 2 defensemen, and one of the Vancouver Canuck players just broke into the middle, and the defenseman for the Sharks not taking the puck carrier. Here you're going to see number 29 over on the right-hand side, Gino Otchik. See how he cuts across right there, and then the puck carrier goes wide. There's the cut in front there, and bad angle actually, but there was a little bit of traffic in front of Wade Flaherty. Scott Walker got all of that one.
And you know why he's smiling, Pete? That's his first NHL goal.
Right.
And he's on Hockey Night in Canada. This game also being televised nationally across Canada. Walker from Montreal gets his first career goal, and he gives the Canucks a very comfortable, it would seem, 4-goal lead now. It's 6-2 Vancouver. Walker from Babbage at 6:20. And the puck down in the corner. Old Dahlin trying to get up and does. Now Dahlin with it. Looks for an open man. Takes the shot himself. And Hurst with the save. Here's Friesen out of traffic. Nice give for Peterson. Peterson centers it. Banging away in front is Dahlin. And he's cross-checked for a penalty against Vancouver.
I don't know how he missed that one.
Boy, did he pay the price standing in the slot there. So power play for the Sharks when we come back on Sports Channel.
Sharks down by 4, but they keep pressing here. Tom Peterson with the puck. He's going to drive it towards the front. And look at old Dahlin and the opportunities he gets. Couple of shots right there. 1-2 opportunities, but he is railroaded by Jason Cullimore right there at the end of that shift. And Cullimore's in the penalty box.
Here's the power play then. Ragnarsson, Janney to Whitney. Whitney, backhand pass. It's blocked. The Sharks are 0 for 3 with the net advantage so far. Donovan couldn't get the handle. He had Janney alone in front, isolated on Hirsch, who has played strong in goal for Vancouver. Sharks with 24 shots and only 2 goals. And Corey Hirsch in his 5th NHL game, showing that he's going to be a solid backup, maybe even challenge Kurt McLean this year. Janney Janney was upended, but the Sharks keeping it alive here. There's a tip-off Hedican stick. Hurst comes out, dumps it to the corner. Janney, backhand feed for Donovan behind the net. Donovan tried to shove it in front for Whitney. But Linden gets there and sweeps it down the ice.
Canucks just keeping everything to the outside. Trevor Linden playing a very strong game for the Canucks here tonight.
Here's Janney. Dumps back for Rathje. Now Ragnarsson quickly up for Ray Whitney. 12 minutes to go in the third period. Peltonen knocks it down in the corner, centers it. Actually sends it to the point. Ragnarsson centers it. Whitney couldn't reach it. Here's Ozelin. He'll wind it up. Hirsch, bad save. Now a breakaway for Russ Courtnall. Courtnall skates in, dumps back. Saved by Flaherty. Russ Courtnall unselfishly giving it back for Pavel Bure. And Wade Flaherty came up big there.
He ain't going to miss too many of those. I think Courtnall was just a little tired. I don't know whether he lost an edge earlier than the shift, but look, a great breakout pass. Here is Babbage, knows exactly where Courtnall is. Now the foot race begins. He sees Ragnarsson gaining on him. Here's Pavel Bure, got all kinds of time. Flaherty gave him a little room there between the legs, but right at the last moment he closed up and able to come up with that save.
I'll tell you what, Pete, while Vancouver didn't score on that try, that's the kind of stuff that builds strong teams and chemistry on the ice. When a guy has a breakaway and he passes off to try and get a teammate a goal, that
shows you something.
It does, and I think it means a lot in the dressing room throughout a long year when you know that guys are doing that for you.
Burry doesn't have a bonus for goals, not that you make $5 million a year.
I don't think so. And they're talking about it now. Russ Courtnall and Pavel Bure, who became teammates late last season.
Burry's probably saying, hey, no big deal. I'll get all kinds of opportunities like that again. Some you make, some you don't make.
Well, they're laughing a little bit on the Vancouver bench. Not laughing, but enjoying the moment at least. A 4-goal lead here. And at least based on the way the game and the flow has gone, it seems a little safer than the lead they had in L.A. the other night that disappeared on them.
These two guys each got a shorthanded goal already this season, Courtnall and Burry.
Here comes Peltonen for the Sharks now. Held up as he came across the blue line. Sharks will back out. 5 seconds to go on the power play. Here's Peterson. Looks for an open man. Larionov. That was a tough pass to take on the backhand, and it rolled off the blade of his stick. Back comes McGillney now for the Canucks. Alexander McGillney. Good poke check by Ozelin. Now Sandus peels out of the corner and sends it up the wing. Canucks back in full strength now. Larionov. Up to Dave Brown. Shot. And that one's wide. That was something. Got another one. That would have to be a first in the NHL for him. We're still trying to track down if he's ever had a 2-goal game. There's a blast. Flaherty got a piece of that as Hedican let go from just across the line. Now Odgers dumps it out. Sikora wants Baker, and that's broken up. Now Jay Moore has to hustle back. A 2-on-1 for the Canucks. Gino Odjick saved by Flaherty. Now centered again in front for Walker. And Flaherty's going to hold it along the edge of the cage there as Odjick went down. He's all right. He just tripped on one of the sticks in the pile there, and big Gino Odjick will be all right.
A big chuckle on his face. Flaherty's really getting some work in this game. 2-on-1 breaking in. Here's Odjick coming in on the short side. That's where goalkeeper's got to be quick. Stays on his feet. See how Flaherty stays on his feet. Always has that puck in front of him and squeezes that puck up against the net there. Time is running short here for the Sharks, down by 4 with just over 10 minutes left here in regulation.
And regrettably for the Sharks, their power play has failed them tonight. They are now 0 for 4, and they gave up the shorthanded goal. So that's been a pretty important aspect in this game. You figure if it's a 2-goal swing, if they get one and don't give up the shorty, you're talking about a much closer hockey game. Here's Odgers dumping it in. Now they'll give chase. Hurst decides to back away. Too much traffic. Here's Brown with time. And the check by Lumi. And Brown took a little too much time. Michael Sikora sends it across to his defensive partner, Jay Moore. Odjick almost had a chance to walk in. Sikora, short pass up for Friesen. Jeff Friesen still trying to get that first point of the young year. He was stopped at the line. Now Brett Hedican, who has become a very impressive defenseman and a big part of this Vancouver defense since coming over in a trade with St. Louis. Friesen shot, saved by Hirsch. Intended for Dahlin behind the net. Hedican got it. Ragnarsson trying to keep it going. Out of the corner, it's Falloon. On his backhand, Pat Falloon. Nice dump pass short side, but Hedican read it. Here's Dahlin now. Hedican's got a hold of his sweater. Ulf trying to get it in front. There they go, and they score! Pat Falloon!
See how strong Ulf Dahlin is. Whoa. How much work did he do on this goal? Hedican is all over him, but he's not giving up this puck. But as he's fighting to get loose, he knows that his players are going to go for the net. There's Friesen getting tied up, taking one defenseman with him. Pat Falloon very wisely goes for the net. You know where Dahlin's going to put it. And Pat Falloon gets his first goal of the season.
Well, Pat Falloon knows he's got to find a way to score goals, and they're not all going to come from the perimeter. He paid the price there, and it paid off. Gets his first goal of the year. Ulf Dahlin the assist at 11:07. And it's a 3-goal game as Peterson tried to bat one out of the air. Now it comes down in the pile, and I think Hirsch has got it. And we will pause. 8:30 to go. Well, maybe still time. 6-3 Vancouver.
JCPenney.
8:30 left in the third period. Vancouver leading 6-3. Well, it's coming up, the coolest night of the week. Join S.J. Sharkey and watch the Sharks and the Winnipeg Jets on Thursday afternoon at 5:30 at Charlie Brown's in Redwood City. Sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. There's going to be a free buffet, and you can also win Sharks tickets coming up on Thursday afternoon, 5:30 at Charlie Brown's in Redwood City as the Sharks head out onto the road. We'll be in your hometown that night, not too far from Fox Warren, Manitoba, which is the hometown of Pat Falloon.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump. Falloon, this line, very effective in this game. A lot of scoring opportunities. They finally cash in on one, and work done by Ulf Dahlin, and Pat Falloon sliding inside that crease area, stick on the ice, perfect pass for him, but Ulf Dahlin, and no mistake there for Pat Falloon. A lot of time to go, 8.5 minutes.
Rathje shot, and Hirsch will hold on there. Tell you, if they could get one quickly here, maybe they could get the Canucks thinking about Thursday and go, uh-oh, not again.
Sure, they got plenty of time here. Get one here, 6-4, you still got time. Gotta be aggressive, and gotta play this game in the Vancouver zone the rest of the way.
Off the draw, Donovan. And now it comes back to Mike Rathje in his first game of the season. Peterson will give back to Rathje, and now he'll get it out to the blue line. Channy, what a pass between the legs to Whitney. He has to back up, though. It was right through the legs of Russ Courtnall. Sharks moving the puck well here, but not in the right direction. Now they do. Here's Janney. He's got Whitney wide to the left. Lost it as he tried to stick handle through traffic. Donovan battling after it. Can't reach it in time. Courtnall. And now it's out in front, and Dave Babbage will sweep it to the far boards. 7:41 left in the third period. It's 6-3 Vancouver. Russ Courtnall now down the left side. Only he and Burry in the offensive zone. And the block by Ragnarsson as Burry was waiting on it. Nazarov takes it across the line, protects the puck, and now dishes off to this side. Pretty nice work there along the board.
Nice moves for a big guy like that. A little twirl around there.
He's one of those guys that seems to get better every game. Shows you a little something every night that he's learned from the night before. Pulls it off the boards there, lost the handle that time. Gino Ojic takes it back. He and Tim Hunter skate into the Shark zone. Drop pass for Walker. He scored his first NHL goal from a similar spot earlier in the period, but he misses there.
I think that one just rolled up on him at the last second.
Now Nazarov at the blue line. Ozelin's tried to keep it in. It does come out. It's cleared down the ice. 6:49 left in the third. Igor Larionov. Ozelin sends it back the other way, but nobody on the boards for the Sharks. Ojic has it. He'll try and tie it up down there if he can for a faceoff. That's all they want him to do in that spot, but he couldn't. And now Larionov with it. Turns away from Tim Hunter. Sharks want to change here, I think. This line's been out a while. And now they'll do just that and get the Odgers-Baker-Brown line out. Larionov gives for Odgers. Jeff Odgers down low. Check there. Centering pass. Score! Michael Sikora.
Don't go away yet. Michael Sikora gets it, but Jeff Odgers is the one who's going to create this. Here's Igor Larionov dumping the puck in, and look at Jeff Odgers hustling in there, going hard. Look, he beats the defenseman right there on a one-on-one. Looks back. There's Sikora just in a perfect spot. Nice soft pass. He buries it to make it a 6-4 hockey game.
Timeout taken by the Canucks, and Pete, what we were talking about has just happened. Rick Lee is starting to think about Thursday night. He wants to settle the Canucks down with 6:14 left here. He has visions of this thing slipping away again.
Well, he knows that the Sharks are going to throw everything they have on him, and you can see the concern on his face right now is telling his guys, dump it out, don't lose those one-on-one battles. And a situation where Jeff Odgers just made a great play going in. He beat Jeff Brown on that one-on-one confrontation, went in, got the puck, made the twirl. Sikora comes in and made no mistake on that play.
And for Michael Sikora, only his second ever NHL goal. The first one came back in the 93-94 season. Odgers and Larionov the assists, and Igor Larionov deserves a mention on that goal because he got the puck into the zone in the middle of the line change, and rather than going off, he stayed with the play, attracted some defensive attention, and that helped the whole play turn into a goal. More behind the net now. The Sharks have to keep Vancouver off the board for sure. Here's Dave Brown with the steal, and he gets it just out over the blue line. Jamie Baker pinned to the boards by the Canucks' Trevor Linden. Here's Odgers, and he's had a good game. Been an integral part of 2 Shark goals up before they've scored.
Here we got a penalty.
Penalty coming up to the Canucks as Dave Brown was hauled down from behind. I'll tell you, the Canuck defensemen are treating this guy like a goal scorer, and they should.
You know, these 3 guys out there, there's nothing fancy about them. Brown and Odgers, they just throw it in, go after it hard. And Dave Brown's got a couple of goals in this game, and look, he's just going for this loose puck. He keeps those legs moving right there, just keeps chugging away, and there's the grab by the Canuck player, and
Jeff Brown going off.
Yeah, he draws the penalty, and whoa, that faceoff is inside the Vancouver zone.
Well, the Sharks have not scored a power play goal all night, but the timing would be very good if they could do that right here. Rick Lee not ready to blow a fuse yet, but he is starting to heat up.
Oh, believe me, those insides are churning.
Interference by obstruction called against Brown at 14:28. Rafchi and Ragnarsson on the points for the Sharks on this power play. Linden getting to it at the far boards. Now Whitney trying to force him off the puck. Janney to Whitney behind the net, back for Craig Janney. Janney in front. Batted away by the Canucks as Nazarov was trying to tee it up. And now it is Jelena. Ragnarsson gets it back for the Sharks. Marcus Ragnarsson, nice feed for Janney. Janney waiting for his teammates to catch up. Andre Nazarov with it. Dumps it at the net. Hurst the save. And now a good hit by Ragnarsson on the late defenseman there. Otherwise, Jelena has a chance to walk in. Here he is as it is. But he's ridden off the puck by Rafchi. Boy, if Ragnarsson doesn't get a piece of him there, he might have gone coast to coast. Here's Whitney, the crowd sensing a chance to come back here. The dish for Rafchi. Gives over to the other side. Ozelin's miscontrolled. Now behind the net. Here's Nazarov. Takes it to the corner. Still with it. Open man Rafchi. Shot! Tipped up high and over the net. Janney dishes. They score! Nazarov!
Play goal. The Canucks had some opportunities to get it. Here they got possession, puck going out in front, and there's Andrei Nazarov just coasting in front of that net. Here's the puck behind the net. Canucks got possession just for a split second right there, but they lose it, and here comes Nazarov. He's actually on his knees, and a surprise Corey Hirsch, 6'5", with 4:23 left here in the third period.
Janney and Rathje the assists, and this place is rocking again. Andrei Nazarov's first of the year. It's a one-goal hockey game. 6'5", Vancouver. 4:17 left. Here come the Sharks. Balloon with Dahlin and through his skates. Pavel Bure trying to dump it in. That's blocked. Now Sikora at the blue line, and he lost it. He was trying to one-hand it. Here's Courtnall, lines up, shoots, saved by Flaherty. That was a big stop. Now Sikora gives it up again. Another shot, save, rebound, and Flaherty got a piece of that. The light came on, but there was no goal.
No way, not even close.
Dahlin to the other side, and Sikora's had a horrible shift. He did get the goal, but he coughed it up twice in front. He's trying to get off right now and settle down.
A great shift by Courtnall. Very determined out there for Vancouver. He's going off.
Bouncer to Flaherty, and he'll glove it there. Up for Friesen. 3:24 left. Jeff Friesen. Up the wing for Nazarov. Andre winds up, shoots just wide. What a release by Nazarov. Faked it and then just missed. Now out of the corner, Peltonen wanted someone in the slot, nobody home. Now it's going to be McGillney versus Ragnarsson behind the play. A penalty coming up. Shot, score. Hat trick for Alexander McGillney, and the Canucks lead 7-5.
Make it a 6-4 hockey game.
Timeout taken by the Canucks, and Pete, what we were talking about has just happened. Rick Lee is starting to think about Thursday night. He wants to settle the Canucks down with 6:14 left here. He has visions of this thing slipping away again.
Well, he knows that the Sharks are going to throw everything they have on him, and you can see the concern on his face right now is telling his guys, dump it out, don't lose those one-on-one battles. And a situation where Jeff Odgers just made a great play going in. He beat Jeff Brown on that one-on-one confrontation, went in, got the puck, made the twirl. Sikora comes in and made no mistake on that play.
And for Michael Sikora, only his second ever NHL goal. The first one came back in the 93-94 season. Odgers and Larionov the assists, and Igor Larionov deserves a mention on that goal because he got the puck into the zone in the middle of the line change, and rather than going off, he stayed with the play, attracted some defensive attention, and that helped the whole play turn into a goal. More behind the net now. The Sharks have to keep Vancouver off the board for sure. Here's Dave Brown with the steal, and he gets it just out over the blue line. Jamie Baker pinned to the boards by the Canucks' Trevor Linden. Here's Odgers, and he's had a good game. Been an integral part of 2 Shark goals up before they've scored.
Here we got a penalty.
Penalty coming up to the Canucks as Dave Brown was hauled down from behind. I'll tell you, the Canuck defensemen are treating this guy like a goal scorer, and they should.
You know, these 3 guys out there, there's nothing fancy about them. Brown and Odgers, they just throw it in, go after it hard. And Dave Brown's got a couple of goals in this game, and look, he's just going for this loose puck. He keeps those legs moving right there, just keeps chugging away, and there's the grab by the Canuck player, and
Jeff Brown going off.
Yeah, he draws the penalty, and whoa, that faceoff is inside the Vancouver zone.
Well, the Sharks have not scored a power play goal all night, but the timing would be very good if they could do that right here. Rick Lee not ready to blow a fuse yet, but he is starting to heat up.
Oh, believe me, those insides are churning.
Interference by obstruction called against Brown at 14:28. Rathje and Ragnarsson on the points for the Sharks on this power play. Linden getting to it at the far boards. Now Whitney trying to force him off the puck. Janney to Whitney behind the net, back for Craig Janney. Janney in front, batted away by the Canucks as Nazarov was trying to tee it up. And now it is Jelena. Ragnarsson gets it back for the Sharks. Puck Marcus Ragnarsson, nice feed for Janney. Janney waiting for his teammates to catch up. Andre Nazarov with it. Dumps it at the net. Hurst the save. And now a good hit by Ragnarsson on the late defenseman there. Otherwise, Jelena has a chance to walk in. Here he is as it is. But he's ridden off the puck by Rathje. Boy, if Ragnarsson doesn't get a piece of him there, he might have gone coast to coast. Here's Whitney, the crowd sensing a chance to come back here. The dish for Rathje. Gives over to the other side. Ozelin's miscontrolled. Now behind the net. Here's Nazarov. Takes it to the corner. Still with it. Open man Rathje. Shot! Tipped up high and over the net. Janney dishes. They score! Nazarov!
Play goal. The Canucks had some opportunities to get it. Here they got possession, puck going out in front, and there's Andre Nazarov just coasting in front of that net. Here's the puck behind the net. Canucks got possession just for a split second right there, but they lose it, and here comes Nazarov. He's actually on his knees, and a surprise Corey Hirsch. 6-5 with 4:23 left here in the third period.
Janney and Rathje the assists, and this place is rocking again. Andre Nazarov's first of the year. It's a one-goal hockey game. 6-5 Vancouver. 4:17 left. Here come the Sharks. Balloon with Dahlin and through his skates. Pavel Bure trying to dump it in. That's blocked. Now Sikora at the blue line, and he lost it. He was trying to one-hand it. Here's Courtnall, lines up, shoots, saved by Flaherty. That was a big stop. Now Sikora gives it up again. Another shot, save, rebound, and Flaherty got a piece of that. The light came on, but there was no goal.
No way, not even close.
Dahlin to the other side, and Sikora's had a horrible shift. He did get the goal, but he coughed it up twice in front. He's trying to get off right now and settle down.
A great shift by Courtnall. Very determined out there for Vancouver. He's going off.
Bouncer to Flaherty, and he'll glove it there. Up for Friesen. 3:24 left. Jeff Friesen. Up the wing for Nazarov. Andre winds up, shoots just wide. What a release by Nazarov. Faked it and then just missed. Out of the corner, Peltonen wanted someone in the slot, nobody home. Now it's going to be McGillney versus Ragnarsson behind the play. A penalty coming up. Shot, score. Hat trick for Alexander McGillney, and the Canucks lead 7-5.
Sandis Ozelinsh was going to get a penalty on that play as he just hauled down one of the Vancouver players. And well, McGillney made no mistake. Not a good angle, but he found enough room between Wade Flaherty's pads, and that calms things down real quick here in the San Jose Arena. And the Sharks were hot. They were pressing, but you know, you gotta keep in mind a little bit of defense back there. Here they come. Ragnarsson's the only guy there, and there's the shot, and once again Flaherty sticks the pad out, gets a piece of it, but McGillney with the hot stick. Hat trick. 7-5 with 2:50 to go here in regulation.
16:56 time of the goal. So because in essence a delayed penalty was in effect, there won't be a power play now for the Canucks. Sharks need 2 again. Janney roughed up in the neutral zone as he tried to spin away from a check. Looks back at Kaharski. There was a stick up about face high on Janney there, and he didn't like it. 2:43 left. We'll be back on Sports Channel.
Muhammad Ali is my brother.
After being the Bay Area's newspaper.
Back at San Jose Arena, 2:43 left in regulation. The Sharks had climbed to within a goal, but then Alexander McGillney's third of the night took the steam out of the comeback for the time being. Face-off just inside the Vancouver zone, and Donovan wins the draw as Peterson will go back past center ice. And time is of the essence now here, clearly. Rathje wanted Whitney at center ice, and the pass just wasn't on target. This will be icing, though, against Vancouver. So actually it accomplished what didn't with the pass, in that it'll come all the way down to the other end.
Well, Mike Rathshoe's had that groin problem. It looks very good out there. Doesn't show many ill effects of that injury. Needs some games, obviously, to get himself back in game condition. And well, things have quieted down here with that goal by Alexander McGillney. It's 2:28. Couple of goals, but stranger things have happened.
Rathshoe talking it over on the bench as Janney lines up in the face-off circle. Back to Ozolinsh, winds it up. Oh, and Hirsch got a glove on that. What a reaction by Corey Hirsch to get the arm up in time to knock that over the glass.
That's that face-off, a big win right there by Craig Janney. And what Ozolinsh is doing, other year they maybe look for that one pass, a little bit too fancy, but now he's got in his mind to shoot that puck. Look at the bodies between Corey Hirsch and Sandis Ozolinsh. I mean, Donovan's crashing, Whitney's over there, but Corey Hirsch, strong game. Got that arm out and deflected it over the glass.
Whitney will take Janney's spot, who was asked out of the circle. Here's Ozolinsh again, and he passed it behind Janney. Probably would have been better off to shoot it again.
Yeah, you never know.
When you need two, you got to get the one first.
You never know.
Here's Janney, and that'll be onside, but the Canucks get it back. Pavel Bure gets it back from Lumi, and right now they're just trying to burn clock, and that's exactly what they're doing. Brett Hedican across center ice just flips it into the corner. Bure will chase it, gets to a bird. Pavel Bure trying to pass. Ragnarsson broke it up. Now it is Whitney up for Dahlin. Dahlin and Friesen 2-on-2. Here's Jeff Friesen. Shot saved by Hurt. And then the net comes off, and we get the whistle with 1:41 left in the third period.
Friesen's out there. There you see the net coming off, and I think it was all Dahlin. Maybe either he was pushed or just went crashing into it. We'll find out where the faceoff goes. As right now Don Koharski is talking to the linesman. Maybe he didn't see who did it, and he's pointing right now to the faceoff circle outside the blue line. So communication between the two officials, and the draw will come outside the blue line. Dahlin will take the center spot here, takes a lot of the draws. Friesen on the right, and Matt Falloon over on the left side.
The draw comes to the near boards. Elcock sending it across for Dave Babbage. Here's Rathshoe over Tom Peterson. Ahead for Friesen. Now here's Friesen at the blue line. Dropped it for Dahlin, who had moved to the inside. Canucks get it right back. Here's Alexander McGillney. He has been the hero for the Canucks tonight with a hat trick. His first in a Vancouver uniform. Babbage dumps it in. And Melcock couldn't hold it in. He interfered with old Dahlin. He's going off. That's it. And that's the new rule, and Melcock just broke it.
We put that one in the book right there. Just take a picture of that one. As it goes around, defenseman loses it. Dahlin trying to break after that loose puck, and
I said new rule, not new rule, the new interpretation. Whatever, it's a penalty.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's not get picky
You
here.
don't have to spell it out, Randy.
Yeah, well,
if we see a guy sitting in the penalty box, we know he got a penalty. Here it is.
Very good.
Here's the puck coming out, and there you see the reach right there, and Dahlin down, and well, we got a minute and 12 to go, and I'm sure that an extra attacker will be something that Kevin Constantine will want. As soon as they can get the puck in deep, then they'll have a two-man advantage.
Slapped in by Lumi. And Flaherty leaves it for Marcus Ragnarsson, and now Larionov to Ozolinsh. A minute left. Sharks on the power play. Nazarov tried to leave it at the line, but Sharks are already in the zone. Here's Peltman to the boards, advances it for Larionov. Igor sends it back to the point. Ozolinsh winds up, shoots it wide. Nazarov back to Sandis again. Now Ragnarsson one-times it, that hit the post. Dump behind the net. Here's Hedican. Ozolinsh holds it in. The Vancouver Canucks facing a two-man advantage now as Flaherty's out of the goal. The Shark net's empty. Here's Larionov. Scores!
It's incredible. 22.5 seconds left. We've got a one-goal hockey game as Nazarov with the puck being challenged by Linden. The puck sliding right to Igor Larionov, who just drills it towards the net. It hits something in front. Here's Nazarov with the puck. Fires it around. Let's see. Larionov lets the puck go and hits something. And Igor Larionov gets it through Hirsch's legs. And,
well, Pete, we talked about the West Coast offense before this game and how these two teams had been in some shootouts already. We've got a 14-goal game if the Sharks can tie it at least, but a 13-goal game right now. Unbelievable.
You know, in as much as the fans like this, I mean, you like scoring, both teams getting opportunities. These coaches back there and these goalkeepers, I mean, you got migraines, these guys. I mean, Rick Lee's got to be wondering what's going on. I got a 6-2 lead. Now I got a 7-6 lead. And well, the good news is the Sharks have come closer, but the bad news is that they've only got 22 seconds to get that tying goal. And well, obviously face-off win important. Dump it in deep important. Get the puck in front of the net, crash the net, and get a bounce to tie this game.
You almost wonder if it's worth sending Flaherty out to start the sequence here, because if you don't win the draw, the chances are you're not going to get a chance anyway. And Kevin Constantine obviously buys into that. He's not even going to put Flaherty out there at all. So the Sharks go with the extra attacker. The net's empty. They need to win the faceoff.
Yeah.
And Janney does. Now here's Larionov with the puck. Igor to center ice, sends it in. Now here's a chance in front, and Ozolin's had it go over his stick. Come behind the net. Dahlin after it, but Tim Hunter will get there. Down to 8 seconds left, and the Canucks work it to the line and out, and that should do it.
Offside.
3.9 seconds left. Offside called. And unless the Sharks can score from long range, this should be enough time for the Canucks to kill it off.
Need a Hail Mary.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just draw it, fire it, and everybody's got to go like crazy for that net.
Need Doug Flutie.
Yeah? What'd you need? I don't know.
Boy, Ozolin's had that on the right wing, and it just hopped over his stick. That'll do it as the Canucks send it to center ice, and the Sharks wrap up their first homestand, still looking for win number 1 of the season. This was another toughie. They came back to make it 6-5 after the Nazarov goal, but that hat-trick goal by McGillney turned out to be the killer. And the Sharks go on the road, a loser tonight. Vancouver wins at 7-6.
You know, you're at home when you're giving up 7 goals. It's just very difficult to come back from that. On the good side of it, some good effort by a number of people on the Sharks, but on the other side of the coin, you know, you just can't give up those kind of scoring opportunities. The McGillneys, the Burries, they just were too much for the Sharks tonight. But another, I guess, good thing was the Sharks did not quit. Down by 4, came to within 1. So if you want to take anything encouraging out of this game, I guess you can look at that situation.
So the Sharks give up 7. Let's go down to ice level now in the 3 stars.
The second star of the game for the Vancouver Canucks, number 16, Trevor Linden. And the number 1 star of tonight's game for the Vancouver Canucks, number 89, Alexander Mogilny. Join me in congratulating the 3 stars of tonight's
Well, the
game.
third period was won by the Sharks. They finished strong, outscoring the Canucks 4-2. Scott Walker got his first ever NHL goal at 6:20 from Dave Babbage to make it 6-2 Vancouver, but then the Sharks began what would be quite a comeback. Pat Falloon at 11:07 got his first from Dahlin to make it 6-3. Then Sikora at 13:46 from Odgers and Larionov made it 6-4. Then the goal that brought this house down, Nazarov at 15:37 got his first from Janney and Rafchi, and it was a 1-goal game, 6-5. But just a minute and a little bit after that, Alexander Mogilny pretty much put an end to things at 16:56. He got his 4th of the year and 3rd of the night, an unassisted goal to make it 7-5. Igor Larionov got one later at 19:37, his first from Nazarov and Ozolin. Regrettably, though, a little too late, and that's as close as the Sharks would come tonight. So the Vancouver Canucks defeat the San Jose Sharks 7-6. We'll be back on Sports Channel with our post-game show. It follows immediately.
I think I was about 8 when I decided I was going to be a professional hockey player. I went out into the living room and I said, Dad.
Sharks Hockey on Sports Channel is brought to you by the Discover Card. It pays to discover. By the new Dodge. See your friendly Dodge dealer today. By the Discovery Channel. Explore your world. And by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. We are back live at San Jose Arena. This homestand is over, and the Vancouver Canucks pick up their first win of the year at the expense of the Sharks. 7-6, the final score. Randy Hahn with Pete Stemkowski and Stemmer. We talked about it in the open. These teams have been in wide-open hockey games. This was another one again. The Sharks came close in the third period, but not close enough.
You know, I don't think the Sharks can play this kind of hockey, these wide-open 7-6, 6-6 hockey games. I don't think they got collectively enough firepower to get involved in situations like that. You want to look at some good things for the Sharks tonight? I think that line of Friesen, Falloon, and Dahlin really came alive. They had a lot of scoring opportunities. That continues. They'll start getting in the scoring column. I like the defense. Some of their defense came up, played strong, but the fact is they have problems in their own zone. They're giving up too many goals. Just when they get back into the game, boom, the other guy comes down and puts it in. But it's an exciting game. It was a great game to watch, but unfortunately, the Sharks come out on the short end of things.
And unfortunately, they still haven't had a huge game yet from either one of their two goaltenders, and that's obviously a problem that they talked about in the preseason, and so far no one has emerged as number one. Time for our player of the game, and it will be no surprise that tonight's Bud Ice player of the game is Vancouver's Alexander McGillney with a hat trick, including that big goal after the Sharks had climbed to within one. Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. We'll be back to wrap things up as the Sharks get set to head for Toronto, a game there on Tuesday. We'll be back in a moment. The Sharks wrap up their first homestand with 1 point out of a possible 6. Well, our next Sports Channel game coming up on Wednesday, October 25th. Keith Tkachuk, Teemu Selanne, and the Winnipeg Jets in town to take on the Sharks. Game time at 7, and then the face-off at 7:30. That'll do it for now. The Sharks head out onto the road. Stops in Toronto, Winnipeg, and Edmonton until they're back and try and get back on track in front of the home crowd. That'll do it for tonight. Sharks lose 7-6. For Pete Stemkowski and everybody here, I'm Randy Hahn. Good night, everybody. It's a new season and a new era for the San Jose Sharks. Sharks are bigger, they're faster, they're younger, and with exceptional talent that now has a full season to grow and improve. And as the Sharks ready themselves for a week on the road, they're hoping the signs of promise begin to take root. Sharks hockey is next. We're at historic Maple Leaf Gardens in downtown Toronto as 36 KICU Television brings you San Jose Sharks hockey. In the first road game of the new season, the Sharks meet up with Western Conference foe, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hi again, everybody. I'm Randy Hahn, and welcome to the hockey capital of the world, Toronto, home of the Hall of Fame, home of the 13-time Stanley Cup champions, and tonight, host to the San Jose Sharks as they open their road season for another year here on 36 KICU. Well, as we pointed out, the Sharks are looking for their first win, but they have come close, like on Saturday night at home against their rivals, the Vancouver Canucks. Let's look at the last game highlights brought to you by the Pepsi-Cola Company, who reminds you that nothing else is a Pepsi. Looked like the Sharks were going to get smoked in this game. It was 6-2 Vancouver in the third, and then a great comeback. Started by Ulf Dahlin's fine work behind the net, the pass to Pat Falloon, the score, and it was 6-3. 3. Couple minutes later, Michael Sikora, the young defenseman, one-times it, and it's 6-4. Then Andre Nazarov in front on a knee, and it's 6-5. But Vancouver got one right after that, went on to win 7-5, so the Sharks are still winless, although they do have a point. And with me is the Stemmer, Pete Stemkowski, who was absolutely huge here in Toronto, where he was a young star for the last Stanley Cup team back in 1967. Pete, the Sharks have been uncharacteristically offensive the past couple of games to start their season. That's not the team we've known the past couple of years.
No, it's not, Randy. You know, we talk about youth, inexperience on this team, how they have to get more shots on goal. Still, you got to win with team defense. It's been overall offensively wide open, let's shoot it out kind of a deal. But if you can't keep that puck out of your net often enough, you're not going to win a lot of hockey games. So that's a factor here for the Sharks tonight.
Now, clearly, it's very early in the season, 3 games in. And Kevin Constantine at this point is still looking at what he can draw positive out of the first week. And he says, I think we're doing many, many things we've never done in the past. I don't think you've ever seen this team capable of scoring 6 goals in back-to-back games. And we just did that. And in fact, Pete, the Sharks have scored 15 goals in their first 3 games, and that speaks to the skill level on this team. This is a team that now can score.
Yeah, it is. And you know, the Craig Janney line was pretty well carrying the bulk of the offense in the first few games. Jeff Freese a little slow getting out of the gate. He had a good game the other night. He didn't score, but he had a number of scoring opportunities. Pat Falloon got on the board, so offensively they can spread it around a little bit. That'll be good, but once again, they got to get back and improve their defensive end of the game.
Good news is the Sharks have been in every one of their 3 games, and they always play Toronto tough. We'll see how it works out tonight here at Maple Leaf Gardens. And tonight's game is brought to you in part by Great Western's family of companies. Now backed by over $44 billion in assets, Great Western will always be there. By Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every seat of every flight, everywhere it flies, the low-fare airline. By cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. By the Pepsi-Cola Company, who reminds you that nothing else is a Pepsi. And by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. We are back with another season of action on 36 KICU. Tonight, the Sharks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it's coming up next.
Pushing count to 3.
Timeout is called right now. Shaq's got to do something.
Sharks broadcast personalities will instruct you on everything from the basics of hockey rules to the intricacies of specific strategies. You'll get first-hand insight into what it's like to play professional hockey from a Sharks player or coach. Please call the Sharks Community Development Department at 408-999-5844. But hurry, space is limited.
Now I feel like I have very good understanding of what's happening during the game.
My son.
During the intermission breaks, we'll hear from the Sharks. Assistant to the Director of Player Personnel, Joe will be here to analyze the first period of play. We'll take a trip to the Hockey Hall of Fame and have scores from you from around the NHL. Also this year, we'll be taking questions by fax or online. So if you see something during the game or have a particular question for Randy or Pete about the Sharks, you can fax it to us at 408-298-1353 or email me directly at rbronstein@kicu.com. We'll be asking your questions during the second intermission. News now from around the National Hockey League. The Montreal Canadiens have fired their head coach Jacques Demers and their general manager Serge Savard, and Toronto's Ty Domi gets an 8-game suspension for his punch on Ulf Samuelsson on Saturday night. Right now, let's go back to Maple Leaf Garden in Toronto, where Randy and Pete are ready to go.
In Toronto, and we are inside Maple Leaf Gardens. Some folks still making their way into the seats. It will be packed as usual here. And the San Jose Sharks are in town to face Damian Rhodes and the Maple Leafs. These are Damian Rhodes' career numbers. As you can see, he hasn't played a whole lot. 16, 13, and 4 with a career goals against average of 2.60. This will be his first start of the year. Artur Zerbe, we put his career numbers together. 53, 80, and 23. 8 shutouts, including a big year last season when he had 4 and 3.36 goals against. Rob Scheck's the referee, the linesman, Ron Asseltine, and Dan McCourt, and the video goal judge is Ed Butler. We're set to face it off. The Sharks in their road teal against the Maple Leafs in their blue and white, and we're underway with the first of 4 meetings this season between the Sharks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. 2 rivals, and of course the rivalry reached a height 2 seasons ago when these teams went to a 7th game of the playoffs. Mike Hudson's drop pass for Sergio Mometso. Herbe made the save, then a pileup at the side of the Sharks net, and the net comes off its pegs.
I think we got a penalty, Randy.
And I think we will. It's going to be to Marcus Ragnarsson, apparently for cross-checking or interference, and this will put Toronto on the power play just 16 seconds in.
I think Rob Schick must be in a bad mood because the Maple Leaf player goes wide. Ragnarsson just kind of tugged at him a little bit, and he went crashing into the net. And normally an official would let something like that go early in the game, but not this time. Rob Schick calls the penalty on Marcus Ragnarsson, and at the 16-second mark here, the first period, the Maple Leafs go to the power play.
And indeed, it comes just 16 seconds in. Ragnarsson for interference. Toronto's power play, 15th overall, 4 goals, and the Sharks' penalty killing's been solid so far. They've allowed just 2 against.
Good strong draw there by Jamie Baker. Wins it. Jason Moore drills it down the ice, and seconds tick off that penalty clock.
Baker's out there with Moore and Sikora, along with Sean Donovan. Kenny Janssen for Toronto on the left point of the power play. Larry Murphy couldn't hold it in, and the Sharks will get it down the ice as Rhodes will settle it behind the Toronto net. Well, wouldn't you know it, here in Toronto after just 3 games, the press is screaming what's wrong with the special teams, and Pat Burns had to answer questions for the last 2 days about the power play's lack of effectiveness so far in the season. Sundin on the right side for Toronto. Behind that, this is Doug Gilmour back out to the point. Janssen into the corner. Gilmour moves to it there. Here's Dave Andreychuk to Sundin behind the net. He's got a step on Sikora, but then lost the handle. Now Sundin gets it out to Dave Andreychuk. Andreychuk back behind the net. Here's Gilmour, gives to Sundin. He one-timed it into Herbe's pads, but it came back out again. Good chance for Toronto right there. Here's Larry Murphy, shot tipped by Andreychuk underneath Herbe's glove. Now it's in the crease. They hammer away, and a whistle blows. Herbe has it.
Well, Toronto doing a good job of getting that puck back and forth. Matt Sundin, big forward, 215 pounds. You got Andreychuk, who's about 225, and of course Gilmour, who's so good with the puck. Here's how the Maple Leafs control this puck inside the zone. Look at the deflection in front of the net by Andreychuk. Does that so well, breaks open, gets his stick on it, puck's wide, then the mad scramble ensues, and there's Jason Moore coming around, Sikora covering up, and everybody start knocking and banging, and we have 47 seconds left here in the Toronto power play.
Baker stands in against Benoit Hogue for Toronto, and Baker with a clean win of the draw back to Ozolinsh. Now Sean Donovan slaps it out of trouble all the way down in the Toronto end. Here's Toronto still on the power play. Dmitry Yushkevich in the corner deep in the Leaf zone. Good forechecking by Baker. Now it turns over to Baker, and he missed in front. Of course, he scored a big shorthander against Boston on a turnover by Ray Bourque last week. Here comes Hogue for the Leaf. 15 seconds more to go in the power play. In front of the net, Mometso turned aside by Rathje. Now Mike Rathje flips it over to Ozolinsh. Can't quite clear it, though. Murphy shot tipped by Gardner, and it's in the net.
Well, Mike Gardner was in the right spot. Right there when that puck came loose. You see the puck coming from the point, from the right point. Larry Murphy's going to let the shot go. Mike Gardner, number 11, the left of your screen. Here's the shot right here. You see Herbe's got it. A piece of it starts falling backwards, and there's Mike Gardner, who just breaks himself free. And as that puck was trickling, Gardner right there, and there's the shot. He actually got a piece of it right there. Then he continues on, and easy goal there for Mike Gardner. A power play goal, 1-0 Toronto.
2:11 time of the goal for Gardner. And Toronto off to the early lead here on the power play goal by the man who Sharks fans will never forget. Mike Gardner scored that overtime winner in Game 6 2 seasons ago. A game that almost had the Sharks on their way to the Stanley Cup semifinals. Here's Nazarov now down low for the Sharks, trying to get it out to Larionov. And it comes back to Jay Moore. That's Gartner's third goal of the season. Murphy gets the only assist.
Still going strong at 36 years of age.
Now Darby Hendrickson picked up along the boards by Nazarov. Sharks trying to bring it out. Tip again, they score!
The rookie Darby Hendrickson on that one. Sharks better get their act together real quick here as the Maple Leafs once again keeping them inside their zone. There you see Hendrickson right in the middle of your screen there. Number 16. There's the shot deflection. Herbe down a little bit. When goalkeepers go down, those legs open up, and Darby Hendrickson able to get enough on that to put it in. And first 3 minutes of this game, the Maple Leafs have come out strong and lead it 2-0.
Hendrickson, a Leaf draft pick from 1990. Gets his second goal of the season, and it is very quickly 2-0 Toronto as we get an icing call against the Maple Leafs with only 3 minutes gone. And this is hardly the kind of start that Kevin Constantine and company were hoping for. And Herbe's been tested early here, but really hard to fault him on either goal, Pete. Those deflections are tough.
Well, you know, it's tough to play those because they change directions on Gartner as he got a piece of it, and that puck laying there. Somebody's either got to come in and get that loose puck or take Mike Gartner out of the play. That not happening, and Sharks got to get their legs, get themselves back into this hockey game real soon.
Rob Zettler, the former Shark, picked up by the Leafs in the offseason, gets the only assist on Hendrickson's goal at 2:50. So a power play goal followed up right after that by an even strength goal. Toronto's up 2-0 here, and they're called for icing again.
Well, Maple Leafs been taking a lot of heat.
We'll take a break, come right back. Going on the power play, Mike Craig in the penalty box for Toronto for roughing at 3:10 here in the first period. So a chance for the Sharks to get one back. They are down early, 2-0 here to the Maple Leafs.
6-0 is the shots on goal so far.
3 for 13, the Sharks on the power play so far. That's good enough for 5th best. Toronto's penalty killing has struggled as their power play has, or at least until tonight. They have a power play goal, the first one of the game. Janney tried to kick it up to the stick, couldn't. Now Nazarov with Whitney in front of the net. Whitney peels to the corner to help out Big Andre. Now Nazarov getting shoved by Jamie McCowan. Whitney takes the puck away. Nice move, gets it back to Ragnarsson. Back to Whitney now, takes it on the backhand, front of the circle. Now to Nazarov, back for Whitney. He couldn't handle it. They sweep it back to Ragnarsson. Marcus Ragnarsson. Over to Sandis Ozolinsh. He's watched carefully by Sundin. Now Whitney tried to get a shot away, tripped up by Sundin, and it's flipped out by the Leafs' number 26, Dmitry Yushkevich. Here's Whitney again, now turning in his own zone, looks for help, tracked down by Randy Wood, and he'll have to back up toward his own net. Now Ozolinsh mishandled it for a moment, but skates forward, up to Whitney. Whitney across the blue line, got by Gill, but Rob Zettler's there for the Leafs and sends it around the boards. Ozolinsh holds it in. Sandis winds off a skate to Nazarov. His shot right on goal. And Rhodes with a nice save off Andre Nazarov.
Nice shot by Nazarov. That's the idea. Rhodes made the save, but there was no Shark anywhere near to put home that rebound. I think Ray Whitney was at the end of the shift. He just wanted to get off the ice.
Now some fresh people on. Dahlin, Falloon, and Friesen with 38 to go on the power play. Here's Rathje with a nice stop. Now carries it into the zone. Falloon shot. Saved by Rhodes. Pat Falloon getting all of that one as he got it in the wheelhouse and tested Damian Rhodes for the second time on the power play. And there's Rob Zettler, the former San Jose Shark, who was traded a couple of seasons ago late in the year. In fact, on February 1st of the 93 season, went to the Philadelphia Flyers for Slava Butsayev, who is not in the NHL any longer after being released by the Sharks. And Zettler's caught on with Toronto here.
Getting in the lineup for the first time this season. A very popular ex-Shark.
Played 196 games for San Jose. Originally taken in the dispersal draft of the Minnesota North Stars in 1991. Here's Rapchi trying to chase it down. He and Gilmore tangle up. Now Gilmore loses his stick. It's poked away by McCowan to center ice. 10 seconds to go on the San Jose power play. They trail 2-0, the Sharks do, as Dave Andreychuk steals. And the Leafs have pretty much killed this one off as it's dumped down low now. Herbe will leave it there. And Craig is back on the ice, and the Sharks unable to get the power play goal. Here's Falloon across the line. Tried to send it ahead for Dahlin. That's blocked. Now Falloon on second effort gets it deep. Andreychuk's there for Toronto. He'll turn it away from Jeff Friesen. McCowan trying to sweep it out. Couldn't get it out. Moore's shot. Karam's off the boards. Right through the crease. Rhodes a save off Odger's attempt. Now it's Craig on the far boards for the Leafs. And he'll play it up and out to Yuskevich. Yuskevich to center ice and across the blue line. Wrist shot saved by Herbe. Rebound there. And some rough stuff as Sikora gives Mike Craig a pop. Craig was trying to get that puck out of Herbe's mitt.
Well, that's the idea right there. The Sharks allowing the penetration as Herbe does come up with the stop. He's got the puck. Whistle goes, and Mike Craig comes in there a little late, gives the goalkeeper a jab, and good message right there. Good guy to have on the ice is Jeff Odgers, but I think unfortunately for him, he's going to end up in the penalty box for this one.
You are correct, sir. As the Sharks captain will sit down. And that puts Toronto back on the power play, and it'll be our third minor penalty, and we're 5 minutes and a little bit into the first period.
Sharks coming on a little bit here. The first 3 or 4 minutes. Long trip from California yesterday. Each guy's probably had a couple of 3 shifts now, had a little contact, so you look for them to rev it up a little bit, but right now they got to kill a penalty.
Roughing the call to Odgers at 5:42. And so Toronto goes back on the power play, where they have capitalized once already on the Gardner goal. 2:11 into the period. 2-0 Maple Leafs here in the first period. Jay Moore off the draw, playing it around the net, but it hit the back. It comes to Gardner. Now Sundin back up the wing for Mike Gartner to Kenny Janssen. Janssen stick handling under pressure from Donovan. Got it around to the back, but Sundin couldn't bring it in. Now Larry Murphy with it, and he has it knocked from his stick. Janssen a drive. Gartner at the side looking for a tip, still after it behind the net. This is Benoit Hogue. Hogue over to Larry Murphy. Murphy straddling the blue line, floats it into the corner. Gardner is there, picked up by Sikora. They try and freeze it along the boards, the Sharks do, but it comes free. Now Janssen, the sophomore from Sweden, gets over to Sundin. Sundin to the side for Hogue. And the Leafs unable to get a good shot so far. Here's a chance, and it goes off Murphy's stick, and then he trips Donovan for a penalty against Toronto.
That was a delayed call.
Well, Sean Donovan would have been on his way down the left wing with not much more between him and Damian Rhodes than open ice. So it's probably a smart penalty for the Leafs to take in that case, as Larry Murphy will go down.
Well, watch this good pass to Larry Murphy. The puck may have come a little bit too hard for him as he gets it right there on his stick. Had a golden opportunity, and he lost it, and then Donovan turns and starts to go. And I don't know whether Rod Schick was blocked out for a second, but it took him about 3 or 4 seconds before he got that right arm up there, and there's no question Larry Murphy tripped up Sean Donovan.
There's Donovan, who is second in the NHL in rookie goal scoring with 3 goals so far. Second only to Vitaly Yashmanev of the Los Angeles Kings, who's playing on that line with Wayne Gretzky. So Donovan off to a fine start, and his speed and hustle turns the situation back for the Sharks to an even strength affair for the next minute or so, and then the Sharks will have a brief power play. Here's Victor Kozlov back in the lineup after sitting out the Vancouver game. Gets it to the right side. Ozolin's nice pull-up move. Kozlov shot saved by Rhodes. Friesen after the rebound. Jeff Friesen drops it for Kozlov. Another shot. Rhodes turns that aside. And the Sharks are getting some quality shots here in the first period. Ozolin's trying to feed for Friesen behind the net. And it's fired around to the other wing. Kenny Janssen there for Toronto. Kozlov pressuring him. It's up to Doug Gilmore. He's double teamed, loses it to Kozlov. Now Andreychuk up to forecheck as Ozolin's receives it. His pass across the ice for Jeff Friesen. He's got 2 men to beat. Friesen now waits on Ozelinch. Sanders takes the pass, gets it to the forehand, flips it toward the goal, but wide. Now Billy Peltonen's shot. That just skipped through the crease. Here's Ozelinch again. Sharks are on a power play in 10 more seconds. Ragnarson's shot. That's stopped by Rhodes. Friesen rebound and the turnaround shot, and Gill blocked it. Now a pass in front. Peltonen trying to bring it in, but Doug Gilmour with a good steal there for Toronto because Peltonen was all alone unguarded on the far post.
A good solid shift there for Jeff Friesen. The puck just followed him all around the ice, moving well. Let's get some scoring opportunities.
Now the Sharks on a power play for 37 more seconds. Igor Larionov across center ice. Peltonen trying to keep everybody on side. Finally goes into the zone and cleared back out again. Billy Peltonen, new to the Sharks this season from Finland. He's still looking for his first NHL goal, this in his third game. And the Sharks are going to have to hustle here to get one more rush with the man advantage. 11 seconds left in the power play. Larionov looks across over to Rafchi. Rafchi had some trouble with it, but is onside as he plays it behind the net. McCowan checked by Donovan. Donovan falls. In comes the Leafs' Darby Hendrickson, who has one of their 2 goals. Larionov holds it in. The penalty's over, and McCowan will clear it up the boards to Larry Murphy. Murphy takes it nicely off the boards, now down the left wing. Has Hendrickson breaking for the net, and the pass on his backhand too up to handle. Larionov goes to the corner as Rafchi plays it back up the boards to Nazarov. 2-0 Toronto. 11:03 left in the first period. Here on 36 KICU as Rhodes turns aside the weak Donovan shot. Now Hendrickson trying to work it up the boards for Randy Wood. Donovan kind of missed the check, and Wood turned around and came up with the puck. Here's Sergio Amesso, the former Vancouver Canuck. Dumps it at Urbe. Archers will hold it there, and we'll get a whistle inside the San Jose zone with 10:47 left in the first period. It's Toronto 2, the Sharks nothing. We'll be right back.
These days, everyone's looking for opportunity. Opportunity that makes their business more competitive, more efficient, more successful. Just remember, opportunity doesn't always knock.
Tonight's Sharks game is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place.
Well, Kevin's got to be a little happier the way things have been going the last 3 or 4 minutes here. He doesn't like to start, obviously, falling down 2-0, but he seems to have found their legs a little bit and have cut that shot margin down to 8-7, so they are starting to get some scoring opportunities.
Well, you know, Pete, the Sharks scored the first goal of the game in each of the prior 3, and they never won, so maybe this is a good omen. Toronto got the first goal. Unfortunately, they also got the second. Gardner and Hendrickson have scored for the Leafs, and that's the situation here as we're almost halfway through the first period. These teams will play 4 times this year. Sharks beat Toronto in one of their meetings last season, but also lost a big 7-3 game here early in the year. That was part of that tailspin. Remember, Pete, when they went into Detroit the next night and got blown out?
We were Winnipeg before then, weren't we?
Yes, we were. Here's Craig Janney in front for Donovan, who continues to find a way to the front of the net. This time unsuccessfully, and Benoit Hogue makes a nice backhand pass up for Todd Gill. To Gardner with Sundin. He shoots, and Urbe with the save, and the rebound came oh so close to the far post. Sundin flips it in front again. Gardner's there, scores!
I'll tell you, Mike Gardner was just flying on this particular shift. He was all over the ice. He's just zooming, goes for the net. He knows when that puck's going there. See, he is, goes right to the net there, and there's Sikora right in front. There's where he has to be eliminated from the play. The shot coming here from the point. Gardner's on the right of your screen right there, just fights off the defenseman, and bingo, it's in the net. Gardner's second goal of the game, and the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-0.
You know, Pete, Sikora got a tough break there because that pass from Sundin went off his skate and just slowed up enough and right into the path of Gardner that allowed him to score. And the Sharks take a timeout here as Kevin Constantine, or is he taking a timeout? He's taking a goalie out. He is making a change, and Wade Flaherty is going to come in and replace Artur Zerbe. And we are not half a period into the game.
Well, you know, you look at Artur Zerbe and say, what can he do on a goal like this when you got a guy standing right in front of you, and you got a defenseman standing right next to Mike Gardner, and he's just not able to take him out of the play. So Flaherty is in and Zerbe is out.
There's Flaherty's career stats: 5-11-1 with 1 shutout and a goals against average of 3.60. That's in his brief National Hockey League career so far. And there's Zerbe, and again, as you pointed out so accurately, Pete, hard to blame Arturs, but sometimes you just want to shake everybody up by making the change and hope it'll turn things around. Sharks came back very effectively against Vancouver Saturday night. That was in the 3rd period. Right now they've got a whole game to come back. And now we get a whistle on an offside call at the blue line. Well, this guy's amazing, isn't he, Pete?
Sure is. We mentioned earlier, 36 years of age, went 15 straight years prior to last year with the lockout year, where he scored 30 or more goals in a season, and he's just had an outstanding career. And going back to Washington, the Minnesota North Stars, spent some time with the New York Rangers, and he's 30-something, and he hasn't slowed down one bit.
Native of Niagara Falls, Ontario, and he just flies out there at the age of 36. That's pretty impressive. So the Sharks have a new goalie. It's Wade Flaherty. They have a 3-0 deficit to try and chip away at, but lots of time to do it. We're only halfway through the 1st period. Jeff Odgers, centering pass, and it was Baker knocked down in front. Here's Ragnarsson with a shot that hit Baker. And now there's a whistle as a penalty is coming up to Toronto, and I think somebody's going to get it for hammering Jamie Baker to the ice right in front of Damian Rhodes.
Yeah, Rob Schick right there.
It's going to be Sergio Momesso in the penalty box.
The hook in front of the net as the 2 big lines were out there. Jeff Odgers on the ice. Kenny Baumgartner was out there his first time for the Toronto Maple Leafs, as we see Sergio Momesso, who comes over here from the Vancouver Canucks in the offseason. Going to see the play right to the left of your screen. There's the play right there, the hook from behind. As Momesso